loser will go down to play up against CAG Osaka, and the loser of that match will go home. CL4L versus Black Dragons. Let's get underway with map number 1. Consulate on your screen. Operator bands rolling through.
Not a surprise that CL for Life want to be going to Consulate. This is their map pick, and they have won this map 11 times in a row throughout the competitions they've been competing in. Obviously, they're not playing Tier 1 squads for the majority of those, but still, through their Tier 2 competitions, back when they were under the Makers title as well, they won this map 11 times coming into this, including 3 really big games in the qualifiers to get to this point. They won this map in every single series of the NA Last Chance qualifier. They beat SSG Academy, they beat Los, and they beat Oxygen. So 3 big games to be able to make it here to Montreal. And now, of course, they're going to be going up against a professional squad here for their first ever time on LAN. Getting your look at the players now. Good to see them here in person. We've got the Shield bans back-to-back once again. Neither of these teams wanting to run with any of that. And then Azami and Valkyrie, extremely standard bans, right? Shields dominate the meta right now. Azami and Valk, I would say probably the 2 most oppressive defenders in the game. Fenrir is still pretty good, but still I would say Azami, Valk, you can make debates, but 2 of the best operators in all of Rainbow Six. So no surprises whatsoever. Both these teams want to keep it standard, and I think that's probably fair, given that we've got a lot of young players in this team, got a lot of new blood coming onto this match, and a lot of inexperience that players want to get comfortable. They want to start off on the right foot. They don't want to get crazy with things right off the bat.
Very, very intrigued to see how CL4L does here, just because they are the big question mark for me. It's not anything to do with bias for our home regions, because as people who watch the NA League know, I tend to make fun of North American teams more than I support them.
Sure.
But this is a great story, right? I mean, you've got 3 players on this team. Well, I guess technically 2 right now, because Uzi got added at the last second because Tristan was unable to make it. The circumstances around Tristan and his potential at a Tier 1 level are very bizarre, but that's not something that we're going to wade into because it doesn't really matter. Tristan's not here, and therefore is irrelevant for this major. But somebody like Giddy, who's been around for eternity, tweeted that many pros had openly said he'd never be good enough. He'd never play at a Tier 1 level. And admittedly, he is still not a Tier 1 player because his team is not in the Tier 1 of North America League. But he's competing in a major, which is something half of the NA League cannot say, or at the very least at the play-ins if you want to split hairs here, but you still got flown out to compete in a major. That's still a hell of an accomplishment. And the story around him and the rest of the team is really heartwarming. It's a Cinderella story through and through.
Absolutely, and of course they're going to be trying to make the most of it. Now that they're here, they're not here under the best of circumstances. They don't have their full squad, but still, they're going to be doing everything they can to advance through this tournament and prove why they deserve to be Tier 1 players. Up against Black Dragons for this first round, we talk about Consulate, very defender side of map, but that won't stop Adam from finding the opening pick. Guto caught on the spiral stairs, making a solo play, trying to aggress in towards these roam clearers up top. Hornet is still up here as well in a tough spot. He tosses out the Nitro. He doesn't want to give up on this, but I think he has to. 22 HP now, falling down the yellow stairs. He does have a safe way back to site, unless there's somebody outside on the door, but I don't see one. So he should be fine to make it back towards his teammates. But even still, a lot of damage dealt to Hornet. Now Guto's taken out. A trade back from Florio is strong, though. That could be a good pick to be able to equalize this man count.
Packer was exceptionally good in those last chance qualifiers, and is somebody that the CL4L team will rely on if they want to make a deep run. And that deep run will have to happen making it through play-ins. That's your start. So, 1 minute off the clock. As far as I'm aware, most of these players have never competed against a Brazilian team. They don't know what it's like in international events to experience how ferocious and formidable a team like Black Dragons can be. Using the IQ to open up, or at least get access to open up the garage, CL4L will have clear passage into the B-bomb site. They need to manage their time effectively, though, because only 40 seconds remain, and, well, it can be quite frustrating, especially with Nitro cells still remaining in pockets of Black Dragons.
Uzi, the newest member, yet to use any of those trackers. Tried one, but it did fail. Working down the stairs now. Spiral stairs from Giddy. He's about to meet Hornet, and the shotgun deals its damage, finds that kill. But Adam and Bino in the back lines, they've equalized anyways. It's down to a 2v2. Adam trying to find his way into the site. Now link up with his teammate Bino, but he can't do it. Florio finds the isolated player, and Adam not able to find anything in return. In the 2v2, Black Dragons, they are able to hold things down and get the first round here against the North Americans.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a slow take for the CL4L team. Black Dragons on defense, they just gotta wait. The slower that you are on attack, the harder it becomes in the dying moments to pull off a successful execute, especially and most importantly when you don't have a wealth of experience, like the CL4L team does not. They do not have the experience. So up against different playstyles, up against different teams, they have to play their own game, which they did very successfully in the LCQ. It honestly felt like through the NALCQ that CL4L just could not lose. There were so many times where it seemed like a team would have the upper hand, be it in a round or be it in a particular matchup, and there was just no way to shake it. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was watching that final matchup where CL4L beat OXG to get that spot. And I remember about halfway through map number 1, it's like it just doesn't seem like anything is going to stop CL4L from winning. It felt like an almost inevitability. Can't say the same for Black Dragons in their run for the LCQ, but still, this is the second time that a team in the bottom portion of Brazil made a huge surprise in the LCQ, this time with Black Dragons actually getting the spot. Fluxo coming very close all the way back in the Manchester Major when they finished dead last in Brazil.
And you'll remember, the winner of the LCQ in Stage 1 was Team Liquid. Finished top 4 at that event. They had an incredible run. Black Dragons, I think, statistically probably less likely to make it that far, but certainly capable of it. This organization has been through a lot in Rainbow Six Siege. I want to say the longest standing org. Really one of those teams that you associate with Rainbow Six so heavily. They've got some players with experience too. I talk about them as being very young and still having some rookies, but Ask has been at some of the biggest tournaments in the world. Used to play for Team Liquid, of course, and has been a huge part of this team's success in the stage so far. We'll move to the top floor now of Consulate as CL4L start to get some work done with these Flores drones. Flores so effective on the top floor of Consulate, not only for the barbed wire, which he's using it for, but also to destroy the top desk, the desk at the top of Spiral. The long desk really does get obliterated by Flores drones, and it can really stop some of those strong positions the defense wants to play. Not sure if he got any of that done just yet, but could be an objective for Uzi, although he's used all of his Flores drones. Packer down below, of course, on the demos. His goal is going to be to work vert. He can play almost like a buck from down below and try to find picks on the players down here. There's no actual roamers down on the main floor, so all he has to worry about is the vert. Doesn't seem to know there's nobody down there. He seems a little cautious, but he should find out soon enough. And as he works his way up this Visa stairs, also could be part of the process of clearing out Florio on the vending shield. And all right, that was pretty easy.
He almost loses his life as now he fires back with that commando, and it's Packer at the top of the stairs. Get that very first pick. Second time that CL4L in 2 rounds have been able to strike first without surrendering a single point of HP. First time around, CL4L were unsuccessful in getting the kill. This time they don't make that same mistake again. These rounds, though, flying by, and CL4L seems to be gaining very limited map control for the time that they are expending. It was a huge problem all the way back in the first round, but if Packer's pulling off stuff like this, then the man will be unstoppable. Oh my goodness. Taking no prisoners, Uzi with his first international kill, and it's all up to Hornet in a 1v4. Nitrocell goes down and towards the top of the stairs. It's Uzi to pick up kill number 2. CL4L on the board, battling back. Both of these teams are tied at 1.
Packer, a big round player that has been around the Tier 2 scene for a very long time, a staple of it. Starting to get excited here. That's what you want to see out of a young team like CL4L. Obviously, he got top 4 in the North American League last year with Wildcard in 2023. They finished 4th place in the actual North American League, but then weren't able to win the last chance qualifier, so he's never been to an international event. But he's played at the highest level. He knows what it's like to be at the top, to be against teams that are really exceptionally talented. He's played against them inside of the North American League. Now he's up against Black Dragons here. It's got to be strong for this team. One of the most vocal members of this squad, one of the leaders of this team for sure. It's really helped build this roster and help bring them to this point. So exciting to see what Packer can do going forward. Also a double kill coming out from Uzi that round. The substitute coming on in, and of course the content creator jumping in for his first ever Tier 1 or Tier 2 experience. He's played a bit of Tier 3 so far, but I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing what Uzi can do here at an international level against some of the best teams in the world. And I don't think round 1 he was incredibly effective, but so far in round 2 he's starting to show up, so that's good.
All players will have to show up for CL4L, but yeah, I mean, Packer is the name. Uzi, Bino, and Giddy making their international debut, or their T1 debut, rather, I should say. Packer making his first international debut. I think, did Adam?
I think this is Adam's debut.
I was going to say, I wanted to say it was Adam's debut.
Yeah, it is indeed. He obviously played in the North American League for Sonics for a while, for a stage, but no, never actually made it to the event. And for Wildcard, first stage.
He played for that old Aerial Arise team for a long time, too, under the name Tra, if people are familiar with that. TRA changed his name, as we have seen a host of players do when they reach the top level, or at least get close to the top level. Right now, just assembling outside in this third round.
Packer picking up the Damos this time around. Early damage onto Nuxka, who's currently 0-2. He's had a rough stage so far for Black Dragons. Starting to find some way to make impact. Maybe watch Dalamau play a little bit of that Ella and said, I can do it too. Running the Scorpion this time, it won't be as successful. Great shot from Uzi, wow. Only 5 HP, didn't need to be a headshot, but it was just for the style points. Gets traded by Hornet anyways. And will there be another trade to answer it back? There certainly could be. Packer's looking for it, knows that he's still nearby up by the bathroom. But a little bit afraid to take the gunfight. Knows that if he does lose it, there's no other trade coming out. He's the last line of defense here. I mean, they don't really have any map control still instead of CL4L. They've got Adam in the front door. Nobody in control of the top floor right now. Meanwhile, 3 of the 4 players left on Black Dragons are all up above. This is one of those sites where you can deny any plant from that top floor position. I imagine they want to plant right in through the front door here. The defuse gets on the ground, but it's very, very close, so they can pick it up. There they go. This is going to be an execute that won't have top floor control. So can Black Dragons deny this from above, or is this going to be a successful plan from CL4L? That's the game plan.
Adam's got hold of that diffuser, and he might actually find a clear way in. There goes the mirror window, but nobody from Black Dragons actively holding that. Instead, right now, emphasis is on that top floor. They've got a bulletproof camera there as phantom power, or phantom presence if you want to call it that. The small opening that was being watched by Guto does Adam some serious damage. Packer with the sidearm takes out Ask. He's traded off by Hornet, who's now going to work side by side with Guto above. It's an explosion as Adam looking for an opportunity to get diffuser down. Giddy dies. Bino trading him out, though, right before that. Now goes Hornet, dead to Bino as well. Nitro cell from Florio will go. Adam attempting it one more time. Bino watching. Oh my goodness, Florio bottles it, and Bino is nowhere close to affecting the plant. No coverage from CL4L. They're just a bit too slow to react to the plant.
It's great cover. Great cover up above, but I mean, Bino at the end just wasn't in position to stop the final swing that came out. I loved the ability to get off that plant and shoot the C4. Adam played it perfectly to the last possible second. We just didn't have the opportunity to.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Tough spot, but not a bad round. They came very close with it. Again, the gunfights top floor were very good. I think for a plant like that, you're often looking for smokes, right? You're looking for smokes, you're looking for some kind of a distraction, maybe a ying, maybe a shield to put on your back to give you some of that cover from the play up above. They had a good game plan. I just don't know if they had all the utility to really get it done. But the idea was solid from CL4L. They hit some really good shots, just didn't quite turn out their way. So it's going to happen sometimes. Black Dragons as well, I think, responded really well to that. Obviously, the top floor, it wasn't super successful, but they traded out really nicely, and they managed to put up a force that dissuaded CL4L from actively full clearing it. And then they knew their objective the whole time. They had to deny from up above. They were watching the correct angles. That early damage onto Adam as he's tried to go in right through the front door from above was really critical. Then he had to switch plant spots up a little bit. He definitely moved to the better plant spot, the one that was harder to deny from up above, but ultimately it didn't seem to matter. As it went down to the 1v1,
if you talk to players that have very limited experience playing at this level, one of the things that they will tell you is that they feel a lot of pressure on themselves. As Adam died, Bino far away from the execute. It cut to the player cams, and it looked like Bino was almost, I don't know, making his case for what was happening. And you got to keep cool heads. A lot of these players are playing not just for the major, but none of these 5 players are on a tier 1 team presently. We don't know if the NA League is ever going to go back to 10 teams. I assume at some point it will, but you have to think a little bit beyond the major. Some of these players on CL4L are also just competing for an opportunity to play on a tier 1 team. If they excel at the major, they might be somebody who suddenly moves up that depth list of other teams in NA that are looking to replace a player or two on the roster. Ask with a run out, cuts down Packer, and that's the very first kill of the round, and it comes with about half of the round to go.
3 roamers, you got Deimos, you got Jackal. If you're looking at the top lineup for CL4L, you want to get a pick here. If they all fall back to site, which they have now at this point, all 5 players in the basement, and you get no picks, you don't have great actual execute utility. Jackal not great for the execute. He's got smokes, which is all right. IQ not great for the execute. Deimos okay, but it can only track 1 player at a time. It's only scanned the castle, actually. Oh, sorry. It's got the mute and the Kaid as well. So good bit of information to pull from there on the side of Giddy. But regardless, I mean, this is going to be a late round push with all 5 defenders left alive on the side of Black Dragons. They have got a Nitro Cell in their back pocket. Interestingly, Florio bringing the barbed wire on the Kaid instead of the C4. Lots of intel, can actually guide these Nitros. Nuxka has a good opportunity with his Nitro Cell if his teammates give him intel to get one of these vertical picks. We'll see if either of those end up going down, if they can survive a little bit through that. The first C4 from Hornet obviously has been expanded, but there is some of that explosive utility potential. Where's the push coming from CL4L? That's my main question. There's 40 seconds. They've really got to get to it at some point. Starting to work on the floorboards with the pistol, and then of course this is more for the hacks than the floorboards. And it will get frozen out by the 2 brows for the time. It's going to keep on getting lower. 2 canisters still in the pocket of Nuxka. Realistically, I mean, that hatch is never going to open until the round is already over. So they got to go some other way, and they're choosing Spiral.
This is a shotgun that Hornet Town will now need to back away from the engagement. But he wins it. Adam and Bino trickling into their death, and a shotgun on the spiral stairs. Well, that's likely how things are going to go. 1 single kill for Giddy as he attempts to get out of yellow, but isn't successful, and Black Dragons really don't sweat that much on that round. In fact, Black Dragons have been pretty steady so far.
Hornet loving those the shotgun SMG-11 combo, obviously. Playing on that mute in the staircase. Position he knows very, very well. He's often the one to grab those guns to try to help out with the team. Looking for some kind of an answer here. They seem to recognize that Black Dragons are going for quite aggressive defenses, right? We're seeing a lot of roams from BD. They're running all around the map. They're not confining themselves simply to the bomb site. It's also a quite different style of defense than what we saw a lot from G2 versus Cyclops just before this game, which was also on Consulate, of course. CL4L, they've got to find some way to pin that down, and you know they're bringing the right tools. They've got Deimos consistently, they've got some of that Jackal. Now they're going to be bringing a Dokkaebi on Uzi. I like the operators that they're bringing, but they've got to be able to actually use them to get picks. If they're just losing a gunfight to a swing they're not expecting, and then everybody falls back to site, it's a really awkward spot for them to be in without much execute utility. They're going to move on to the split site now on the side of Black Dragons. They're up 3-1. G2 starting on defense earlier today. We're able to get a 5-1 defensive half, and that's not incredibly uncommon on Consulate, but with these weaker teams, sometimes momentum is a bigger factor, and for CL4L, you've got to wonder if their mental might get a little bit shook. This is their map pick. They're on an 11-game win streak on Consulate, so this is a map that they expect to be doing well on. If they are not able to do so, even in the first half, even when it's defender side of map, you've got to wonder how that'll affect them going into the second map and the second half of this one, but getting ahead of myself now. Still plenty of opportunities to pull this back to a 3-3.
You hear the little horn noise. Literally the moment you stop talking, you hear the bump bump in the background. Thought it was a very fun little punctuation there.
That was actually me. I got a clown horn under the desk right now.
Do it again, then.
I don't want to.
There's nothing. I'm powerless here. There's nothing I can do. Either way, this is great experience and great exposure for a team like CL4L and these players. You know, it's heartwarming to always see new players and new teams get a shot to compete at the top level because the experience that is gained is huge. Admittedly, with there being fewer international events now, it is harder for teams to take that information, to take that experience and translate it to success. But all of these players will emerge from this event presumably better than they went into it. And of course, who doesn't like a Cinderella story?
I know I do. Ask is in an awkward spot. He's kind of being pinched here, but he finds a kill for the hatch anyways. Traded by Packer, but you got to imagine that kill could have come a few seconds earlier. Possible for trade here. Good damage from that Deimos pistol. They'll two-shot almost any op in the game. Hornet retreating down the yellow stairs now, though. He's not going to give it the opportunity for a second shot. Actually, sorry, he retreated up the yellow stairs, which means he is still very much out on the roam. Standing on that mute jammer will cancel out the Deimos track, so Packer doesn't have that information to work with. Packer says, screw it, I don't need the information, I'm going to the basement instead. He might have thought that Hornet rotated downwards, but he didn't, of course. He went up top, and now Packer will be aware of that. Trying to get in towards the basement still. This is an awkward round. I mean, the map control is all over the place for CL4L. They're in the basement, they're in the mid-floor, but can they get it into an execute? That's the real question.
Well, Packer's been a one-man army through most of the LCQs, and it seems to be continuing onward here at the Major itself, though he dies shortly after he gets the pick. X-Kairos going off, and Hornetow waiting for that Nitro cell to blow up so that he can get a vantage point, looking towards the bomb site. Plenty of explosions will go out as now Bino finds himself in the thick of it. Diffuser in hand. He's taken out by Guto, and there's Hornet patrolling that opening that was created by the C4. Hornet finding one kill. Uzi with an exit frag, but the time gives it to Black Dragons all the same. BD in full control of this matchup, and so far the series as well. 4-1.
You saw the map control there from Black Dragons. A player up above, a player down in the basement. They really use that to pinch onto CL4L. They caused the distraction with the Nitro cell up above. It was intended to give them an angle, but it got them a lot of... it drew attention as well, which was critical. And then Guto was able to capitalize on that, kill the guy with that fuse, get inside of Tellers, give them that man advantage that eventually led to the round win. So I liked that a lot from Black Dragons. You can see there's coordination with this squad. You can see how well they're working together in these rounds. I will say it feels like they're able to work together only because these positions aren't being cleared super well. CL4L, they are consistently finding picks in the early round. Packer's doing a good job of that, but they're not actually gaining map control with it. A lot of these picks are coming from outside the map. A lot of the other players that aren't Packer aren't grabbing that control very often. So it feels like Black Dragons consistently have a large portion of the map they're able to run around, they're able to utilize, they're able to cause distractions and plays from, and it feels like CL4L don't have a lot of answers when they don't have that map control. So it's been a bit of a problem for them so far. Now they go down 4-1 as the half is won by Black Dragons. A 5-1 would be quite devastating, as we know. CAG were not able to recover from such a scoreline, but it's a new game, of course. It's earlier on in the series as well. That was a map 3, this is a map 1. And I do feel like CL4L maybe can get their feet underneath them a little bit better if it's earlier in the series, but you never want to be losing your map pick.
Well, I mean, tell that to CAG and G2, both of whom just did that.
True. And it did, to be fair, it cost CAG the series.
That hurts my argument, though.
Okay, sorry.
You ever see the movie Liar Liar?
Nope. As some people will tell you, Parker, I'm not really a movie guy.
What do you think Nick's up to right now? Other than being half bald.
Me and Super actually had a very productive conversation about movies.
About bald? Oh.
Not about bald people. No, we haven't had that one yet.
Isn't Super co-streaming?
I think so.
Because SQ's technically not here yet, right?
No, they're not. No, they're still, they're not playing till Phase 2, obviously, so they won't be here for a couple of days still.
Why do we have Phase 2 when we still have Phase 1 competing in the event?
Great question, Parker. That's gonna be after we won that we move on to production. I'm not sure, because I don't think anyone.
Oh, I'm hearing from production they're different things.
I'm not sure. Okay, maybe.
PH phase versus phase up. First pick of this round is going to go to Hornet. Goodbye to Bino, who's like a lot of this CL4L team right now experiencing what it's like to play up against Brazilian adversaries at an international event, and it is not particularly fun. You know, I remember talking to Meepy ages ago where he says, you can theorize what it's like to play against them and you can scrim them. But until you actually play them in a real competition, you have no idea what it is like to actually play against a Brazilian team. They overwhelm you, they will run you over, and that is exactly what is happening right now. Black Dragons positioned so well to go up 5-1. Gudo with 3 kills. He sees the 4th. Giddy's too much for him, but Giddy's getting smoked out. Pulls out the sidearm. He will need to go elsewhere. He'll be given no safe pathway to the bomb site by Black Dragons. Hornet gets kill number 1, gets kill number 5 with a Gudo in the middle. It's a nice Hornet Gudo sandwich, with Hornet being the bread. Black Dragons eating well. 5-1 the first half.
I don't know what he's saying, but I'm intimidated, I'll tell you that much. Gudo, a ridiculous round, obviously. Not usually an aggressive player. Usually gets more of the late round kills. One of those guys that you expect to see kind of clutching up late rounds. For him to be able to find so many good shots, and that one was obviously huge for them. Hornet also, I think, really does deserve some credit, some good headshots. He's been hitting some of the best shots out of anybody on Black Dragons, a 63% headshot rating, the highest of anybody on his team. Typically, you do see those stats higher for players that run a lot of SMG-11 shotgun combos, which, of course, Hornet does. But regardless, he has been really, really good. Guto has been fantastic. Ask has historically been the one that you expect to be seeing popping off. He's only 3-5 at the moment. I think it's a good sign, to be fair, that we're seeing players like Hornet pop off, players like Guto, even Florio, who is 4-1. Not the most kills, but that's an 80% win rate in his gunfights. I mean, you'll take that every day of the week. Black Dragons are feeling very confident in this tournament. This is a squad that I don't think a lot of people have going very far. A lot of people don't even think that they're, don't even have them getting out of phase 1 in their predictions that I've seen. So for them to be having such a strong start, obviously that's a good sign. Proving some players wrong, I'm sure. You can never count out a Brazilian squad, even if they did finish 10th place in the Brazil regular season. It wasn't that long ago that this Black Dragons organization themselves made a bit of a top 8 run at a major. I believe it was Yongshiping, right? Where they managed to get top 8 and surprise a lot of people as they were underdogs in that event as well.
Did you work Yongshiping?
Nope. That was the one major I didn't work since I started in Siege.
This is your first major, Mexico City?
Yep. Great one.
Really good food.
So for this round, I really do think that the intel advantage from Black Dragons is going to be big.
People got sick.
Gonna be big. You've got Deimos, you've got Jackal. Same op lineup that you saw from CL4L, right? Same strategy, same idea. Can it be executed better on Black Dragons? That is the one question we need to ask. Giddy in a bit of an aggressive spot. The only player still on the main floor and not down in the basement. Packer planning around Spiral as well. Can they find him? The Jackal tracks go out right onto Packer, so that'll probably force him back. Can Giddy capitalize on this? Sometimes with that Jackal, you can bait a kill, and with the Nitro, that's exactly what happens. Comes on out to take down Ask. Beautifully done, finds the buck up above, and wasting so much time, too. Giddy, I assume he gets traded at some point here? Maybe? But I mean, with his one pick and the time he has wasted, even if he dies, he feels really good about this life.
Oh, Packer with the super shorty. She sure packs a punch, doesn't she? Noxka the very first kill for Black Dragons, but the numbers are not on their side right now. They could have escaped this one relatively quickly. Packer another with the super shorty. A gun that isn't usually used for these engagements. Now it's Florio following up. Could we have another? No! Packer goes down. Florio has that stairwell now in his control. Will move over towards Spiral. He's spotted by the cams all the way down. Packer and Giddy will be watching those. Do you ever just enjoy the sounds of the game?
It's nice.
It is nice, isn't it? Florio will have 3 separate players all looking at his direction, all of them waiting for him to cross their paths, and Adam is credited with the very final kill. Second round for CL4L. Black Dragons still, though, in a great position.
Yeah, but I think, like, honestly, that first round looked very similar to the rounds we saw from defense out of Black Dragons. What is it? It's one or two quite aggressive roamers. This time it was Giddy, who is getting a massive impact. He's not being cleared very well. The Dokkaebi and Jackal and Buck, they're all coming out, but they're not being utilized super effectively, and so Giddy gets away with some really big impact there. I think he played absolutely fantastically. Giddy, a player who is, unlike Guto, a player who's known to be aggressive, he dies in 78% of the rounds that he plays in, more than anybody else at this event, but he gets impact out of them. You know, he's not always dying without kills. He's oftentimes finding a lot of value when he's out there on the roam. He goes 1 for 1. In this round, he goes 2 for 1, and he denies a ton of time. That's what you want out of aggressive roaming players. Good stuff from Giddy, of course, former teammate of Guy on a Bear. We're seeing big stuff out of him at this event, and that's what they need if they want to start pulling this game back. 5-2 Consulate, extremely defender-sided, so that's a good start from CL for Life. I don't want to get too excited for them just yet, but I mean, a comeback is absolutely on the cards here. Can they make it happen?
Well, we're about to find out.
Oh, good. I was worried we would never know.
Yeah, I just figured that we would play this game in perpetuity. You know when they said that there was unlimited overtime? Well, we've decided to bring it back just for Black Dragons versus CL4L.
Good.
And there actually is no end score limit. Basically, this match will go until midnight, and whoever wins more rounds will then win the whole thing. How's that sound?
That'd actually be a crazy format. Could you imagine, like, a time limit? Whoever's winning by this time is the winner.
For legal purposes, it's a joke.
Oh.
Sorry to break your heart.
Darn, I was hoping to be casting until midnight. Another 12
I don't think that's true. I don't think you were looking forward to casting for the next 10 hours and 34 minutes. So, especially since we started at 10 a.m.
Good util clear coming out. Those nades getting a lot of value with the Goyo canisters being popped. Of course, the barbed wire being taken out as well. It's full bottom floor control, and I really like bringing the Nomad down here because if you're playing down below, say that you're playing on a Deimos, for example, and you get flanked and you lose that bottom floor control, it's really hard to plant on this site because every plant that you're realistically going to go for is going to be denied from below if the defense have that control. So I like the air jabs quite a bit. Now that those are set up, Ask can feel quite safe about his position, starting to hunt for these players from down below. He's going to hunt the smoke first because he knows that's the most important operator. The bees will come in. This is going to be the first jump in, but if the Toxic Babes come out, this won't necessarily be a commitment. I imagine this is going to be an immediate jump out with those Toxic Babes. Indeed, it will. This is the game you play Consulate top floor. You repel in, you bait a Toxic Babe, you repel out. If Ask can get a pick onto the smoke, then you don't need to play that game. You just go for the plants. But while the smoke is alive, they've got to be very cautious.
Everybody still alive with 1 minute to go means chaos is about to unfold in front of our very eyes.
You only want to track the smoke. It's so important to stop this guy from doing what he wants to do.
And there's the plant going down now as Nuxka will get harassed out of that position. As you said, you want to keep the smoke in your line of sight. That's what Ask does. He takes matters into his own hands. Packer goes down. And still there's more to be found. The sidearm of Deimos is so strong when it comes to caliber-based destruction. Giddy's got the lineup with the Nitro Cell. Next one that goes in will die, and there's Giddy tossing it out. And it times it perfectly, waiting for the repel in. He gets more than one. Still harassed by that tracker. Hornet takes out Uzi, but it's a trade right back, and Bino finds 2, leaving just Ask in a 1v3 and almost repelled up the skylight. I don't know if he was just trying to draw them out. Adam has been down, so it's Giddy and Ask in a 1v1. Giddy just needs to play keep away, and that's exactly what he will do. Good patience for the team with no international experience.
To go for 3-1. Don't hesitate to talk to your teammate, do a play, talk to each other, know what we are doing step by step, or the fast pushes, anything. We will see where we're holding, go to the other side, look for gaps.
Ya, aprendió su lección, estuvo baneado, creo que estuvo un año.
Sí, un año, güey. Romeo, Rams, todo el mundo me está mandando mensajes.
Big round obviously coming out from CL for Life.
I think that was Alpha and Falcons getting picked up. I don't think that was yeah.
Unless Packer has developed a thick French accent, which, I mean, we're in Montreal. It's not impossible. Yeah, I think that was probably the other stream comms we're hearing. But In any case, CL for life, a great round coming out. And I think that was a shame for Black Dragons fans because they did everything right until the last possible second. They took the bottom floor control. They set up the air jab so that Ask could do his job without interruption. Then they used Ask to take down Packer and deny the smoke from doing what he wanted to do. Then they repel in, they start to plant. But the Nitro Cell from Giddy is absolutely perfect. I guess the one thing that we could say is it took a long time to kill Packer on the smoke. Packer on smoke did a great job of hiding from that Deimos, running away, still smoking out the plants when the repel came in, right? Packer knew exactly his job. He knew he had to stay alive as long as possible to smoke out that plant. He did it expertly. But generally, it did seem like it took a lot of time for Black Dragons to finally secure that kill. And so that meant when the C4 came out, there's 13 seconds on the clock. It's going to take way too long to get back in and plant. Giddy's able to make the swing up and easily find that second kill on the player repelling in. Just good stuff all around from CL for life in the late round. Shows they really do know how to play this map. Not a surprise, given it's their go-to in every series that they tend to play. But the streak continues. Round 9 now. Black Dragons yet to find an attack. This is the tertiary site. This is where it would happen if it's going to.
Immediate logic bombs going off 45 seconds into the round. And everybody from CL4L, just wait.
I mean, he's in the site. He doesn't have kit, though, unfortunately. A little awkward of that.
Me playing ranked. The Ash is in the site. Where's the diffuser? Oh, the guy's still in spawn droning. Oh, okay, cool. Damage has been done to Uzi, same with Hornet. Next guy with only a single kill so far. Playing high-value utility operators, not the end of the world, but still want to have more than that. Might actually be able to capitalize off of the last logic bomb, which now with a minute and a half has come online, but Nuxka gets picked apart by Packer, who's been favoring these shotguns in these very close quarters, engagements. Time and time again. Ass catches Adam rotating down below. But he could have yet another. He sees the shotgun, but it's Packer yet again. This one-man army, we talked about him. Seemingly willing his team back into these engagements. Black Dragons were up 5-1. And right now the number's looking like a 5-4 if CL4L can do what's needed for the remainder of this round.
Intel on both sides, very limited in that round so far. Now they should be a little bit more aware on the side of Black Dragons of where CL for life is at, what they need to do. They're trying to open it up from front door, but with that mute jammer, they'll get it open now. This is a plant spot. It's a little bit tough, but you can deny that. You can deny it from above, but you can stop the denial with exactly these firebolts. So Guto's going to toss in the firebolts. That should deny the vertical denial. Excuse me for my word of denial.
You're excused.
But with these toxic babes, going to keep stalling it out. That will stall the firebolts as well. They're out of firebolts inside of Guto. He might be able to push up and stop this plant.
Florio getting diffuser down. Now it's all up to Black Dragons to successfully cover this. And right now, Guto, good enough for one. Down goes Packer. Bino will fall just like that. All the dominoes topple together. Very excited to be beating a team that's never played an international competition before. But I mean, I suppose you have to get yourself fired up. Ask very happy about that one. And yeah, CL4L seemingly in control of most of that round. Black Dragons exploiting the fact that CL4L took their eyes off the bomb site. And then the last two players watched as diffuser went down, and all three of the last players still alive locked out a retake.
I think the key thing for Black Dragons is they always seem very aware of like what their win condition is. Like even in the 3v4, even without a man advantage, they know like, okay, it's fine. We still just want to plant. If we can hold like projector, like meeting up with the top floor, if we can hold this one part of the map and we can get to our plant spot, we'll win the round. It doesn't matter how many people they have alive. If we hold these very specific parts of the map, we know we can win it. That's exactly what they did. They now force themselves up onto match point in a 6-3 advantage. I've got to say, Black Dragons clearly know exactly what they're doing on this map. They look very, very comfortable. They're not always winning their shots. They're not always going for the big swings. And I think we're seeing some big performances coming out of Packer. We're seeing some big stuff come out of Giddy. Some of the players on Black Dragons aren't always winning their fights. Nuxka obviously struggling so far in this game. But at the end of the day, their game plan and their teamwork is so good that it's carrying them through this matchup. And that's clearly an area where Black Dragons are seemingly gapping CL for life. Not necessarily a surprise when you think about the fact that CL for life are playing with a sub.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that it's hard to not talk about that.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean, Uzi is sitting at 4-6. Tristan consistently looked like one of the best players on this CL4L team. So it's not just that you have a sub. It's that you're subbing out one of your best players. It'd be like, you know, I mean, obviously this isn't a clean analogy and some people might get angry about it, but it's like, oh yeah, the Patriots made the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you still made the Super Bowl, congratulations, but you're obviously going to be a little bit worse for wear.
A lot of people calling Tristan the Tom Brady of Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm hearing it on socials too, Jesse.
Yeah.
I've read some commentary.
Yep. A lot of people said that.
A lot of people. A lot of people say he's the best player they've ever seen.
Nux's trying to make his way to the basement, but I don't know if they know Uzi's up above.
Oh.
No or not, he's going to hit the shot. Brilliantly done. Can they trade?
A lot of people are calling Uzi the Tom Brady of CL4L. I don't know if you've heard this. And with plays like that, I wonder if he screamed touchdown. Packer and Giddy with a kill apiece. And if that previous round had gone the way that we thought, we could be looking at a potential tie game. Likely won't happen though.
No.
Oh my, Nuxka. You're 1-7. You need to do better than that, but Ask, who looked so happy after the previous round, take an awful lot of damage. He and Nuxka still upright. Job is very difficult for Black Dragons as CL4L still has 3 players, 2 of whom are at full HP.
Uzi lurking. There's the shot scratching his face. Poor timing. Still had a hand on the mouse though, so he was able to fire some shots back. Didn't quite get the kill. Low HP on both players on Black Dragons. Uzi hungry to find them. It'll be Giddy though in a gunfight. Loses, or misses the C4 I should say. It's Nuxka with the shield that he's trying to go up against. Awkward positioning from Black Dragons. They're in very solo fights right now.
Both of these BD players are so low on HP that all it's going to take is a single shot from most of these guns that will kill Ask outright and do some serious damage to Nuxka. Nuxka's a bit tankier. Will probably take him at least 2 bullets to down. There's also 2 shotguns on the board though. Packer secondary, Giddy's primary. Giddy has the SMG out though, down goes Ask, and now it's all up to Nuxka, who had some pronounced struggles earlier with that sidearm out. He's an understanding of where these players are gonna be. He's running out of time. 10 seconds to go, down goes Uzi. It's more winnable than it looked, but Uzi was the only player who'd suffered some damage previously. And CL4L wins the round. We are still playing. Production very happy they won that round.
It deserves some victory. I mean, that 1v3 that they shut down, maybe the least winnable 1v3 I've ever seen. Nuxka without the fuse kit in 15 seconds on fuse shield. Tough spot to be in. Nuxka's had some struggles, of course, not just in this game, but on Black Dragons in general. He's currently the lowest rated player.
Stop giving these guys picks back, though. We gotta stop. Just play safe.
Some wise words from Packer. As I was saying, Nux has really struggled in this stage so far. He is the worst player statistically at this event through stage 2, putting up just 85 kills out of 212 gunfights. 0.67 KD ratio. Nobody else quite hitting stats like that. Still an instrumental part of the team. He plays a lot of shields as well, I should say, so he's not always like getting into gunfights that are fair. He doesn't always have the guns, but certainly he's been criticized a bit from players and analysts alike, so I was hoping to see a bit more out of him through the tournament so far. Moving off of the Osa to the Ying, they've got some ideas. We'll see what they're like for this push-up. I also really want to credit Uzi from that last round. You know, Uzi is put into a very tough spot coming into this team, subbing in last second. I think he's played pretty well so far, having big impact on that last round, getting the opening pick, and then still just existing out on the roam. That seems to be the key for both teams on defense. If you can exist on the roam game, the other teams are having real problems clearing you out. Not this time, though, as Uzi cast her curse. Sorry about that one, buddy.
I can't believe you've done that.
My fault.
That one's on you. And Uzi is dead in what could be the final round of this map. CL4L did choose Consulate. So just as we saw in G2 CAG, the trend line of teams losing their own map could continue. Though that said, the team that gets the first pick does not always immediately translate to a victory. It works about half of the time. It's almost 50-50. And whatever advantage was gained by Black Dragons is now gone as Nuxka is eliminated by Bino.
And the B's not quite able to secure a pick onto Packer, so things just keep getting worse for Black Dragons. Obviously, admin side over push. They're getting some map control, about a minute and a half left to go, minute 45. The next objective will likely be to clear out the vending player, which... Actually, I'm not sure if anybody is actively playing there. You've got 2 players at the top of Spiral, so either of them could move over to vending at a moment's notice. They've got a bulletproof over there instead of a shield. Packer, you see this crossfire he set up. This hallway is so dangerous for attacking players to try to clear on out. At the moment, it won't be the objective of Black Dragons. They're going to go over to the primary breach, pop it open, eventually clear it out. I believe they popped the mute jammer from down below, so getting things done relatively quickly, and that's a big pick because the mute jammer got shot from below. Packer knew exactly where Guto was, and nobody was watching him. Just aggressing into the Visa stairs and finds that frag. That could be enough for CL4L to really close out this round.
And those bees just holding CL4L at bay. Ask will creep up. He has a good idea. He knows where they are, waiting for the draw out, but instead, he's not being given any information. He's not being given a fight. He wants it. Packer has turned his back to him like a jilted lover almost.
Chilling.
He's in no rush whatsoever. The moment that Ask moves, they'll know where he is. Hornet engaging. Bino dies. Florio is there. How does that happen? Ask does get giddy, but Packer's still in this spot. Chilling like a villain. Nobody's expecting him. He pops up, but only good enough for one. It's all up to Adam. He's put himself into a 1v1. This is winnable. Ask looking for the knockout punch on this map to steal it away from CL4L, and Ask will do it. He gets the job done, and Black Dragons will take CL4L's map.
The captain of Black Dragons closing it down for the Brazilians. Excellently done by Ask. Consistently, he has been their best player throughout this stage. IGLing the squad while also top fragging for the team. Ask has always been the one that Black Dragons have needed to rely on. He's the one that dropped as many kills as he did, 37 in the LCQ or in the grand finals, to get to this point, to take out the world champions and make it to Montreal. And now in the final round here in map number 1, takes out CL4L as well. Maybe not quite the same level of challenge. Looks like it's easy for Ask as he brushes them off, but job is not done. They take their opponent's map pick, but still 1 to 2 more maps will remain. Still an opportunity for CL4L to bounce back.
Yeah, no, obviously, I mean, there's still plenty of matches to be played and maps to be played as well. Chalet is up next, and I mean, anything can happen there, really. It's going to be a frenzy. Labs, as a decider, would be fascinating. I don't know at the current moment if we're going to get there. I don't know. Mr. Analyst.
I mean, we said that about G2 as well.
I put on your analyst hat. Do we get to Labs?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, listen, our map 1, G2 lost their map pick. We're like, it's over. We're going back to Manchester, G2 out of it. I think CL4L got some life in them. It's in their name.
For life is indeed in their name. They did not live for their own map. Black Dragons up 1-0, looking for a matchup against G2 tomorrow. Will they get it? We'll find out in a few minutes.
Keep an eye out for contact.
Available now.
Tap, tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah, yeah. 30,000 up, I'm a pilot. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap, tap, real smooth. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go.
And it's time for us to get into map number 2 between CL4L and Black Dragons. And these teams are very different in terms of experience levels. Black Dragon's an organization that has been around since like the genesis of Rainbow Six. They've actually predate every single Tier 1 caster in Rainbow Six at this present moment, which is an astonishing thing to say. I guess the only thing would be if you consider Gassan, our beautiful friend Milos the Medic, who unfortunately is not able to be here. I will say that it is not a Rainbow Six event without you, Gassan. You are greatly missed, and we hope that you are enjoying your time at home, co-streaming the event. But I think if you consider him a Tier 1 caster way, way back in the day, before he was actually casting Pro League, then maybe you can make a credible argument here. But Black Dragons have been around forever. Their rosters have looked completely different throughout the years. And this time, they seem to be doing pretty well. They finished in dead last in Brazil in Phase 2, but then won the LCQs, defeating the world champions of Furia.
Indeed, and I think the current iteration of Black Dragons is characterized almost entirely by this man on your screen right now. Ask came into this lineup after being dropped from Team Liquid, couldn't find his way onto any other top Brazilian squad, so he joined Black Dragons instead, and he's really helped kind of form this roster around himself. He is their IGL, he is their top fragger, he is the longest standing member on this team. It really is his squad, this Black Dragons group, so you're really looking forward to see what he can do with this team. Sometimes you look at this squad, and especially given that they finished dead last in Brazil this stage, you kind of question, all right, do these guys really got it? Do they deserve to be considered one of the top teams inside of Brazil? And if anybody makes that argument convincing, it is Ask. So you really got to give credit to him throughout all of the plays that Black Dragons are making. Had the big play to finish off that last map and get them to this overall point. But there were a lot of performers from Black Dragons on map 1. I thought Guto played well. I thought Florio played well. You know, there were a lot of really standout guys on Black Dragons. So if they can keep that up here on map number 2 of Chalet, well, certainly they're going to be favorites, especially on their map pick.
Yeah, I mean, this is favorable territory for the team that picked it. If you go back to our first match, which we referenced a little bit during map number 1. Okay.
Shout out Woos.
Shout out Woos. If you go back to our very first matchup of CAG Osaka versus G2, both of those teams lost their own map picks.
Yep.
Will we see lightning strike four times, technically?
Yeah.
Or will it be a 2-0 for Black Dragons? This is a very popular map in Brazil. Brazilian teams tend to know how to play it and play it well. What happens with CL4L? We'll get into the operator ban phase. CL4L starting on defense. What are your suspicions here?
It's hard to know, because CL for Life, they don't play this map. They didn't play it at all for the LCQs. I'd guess like a Monty, maybe. It's really hard to predict what they're going to be banning here. Yeah, he does it anyways. How? Because Monty's the most busted off in the game. That's how. Simple ban out to start things off. This is probably going to be like a... Could be Grim, could be Dokkaebi. Black Dragons, they play this map a lot, and they change their bans up a lot. It could also be Blitz. That's what they banned on the first map. They've banned that in the past, but usually only against really shield-heavy teams. CL for Life are not that. They're not a big shield team, so I don't know if I love a Blitz ban. They're going to go for it anyways. Fine. It's a safe ban, and especially against an opponent you don't know that well. I think banning out the operator that you think has the most opportunity to disrupt you is the biggest issue. Azami would be my pick for the third one. Ooh, a little Vigil ban. Vigil is extremely good for spawn peeking on Consulate. Of course, with the Boss G, has ample opportunity to find those long angles and get himself an opening pick and start the round off strong. And we will end with a Kaid, a popular ban for CL for Life on other maps, so not maybe the biggest shock. Not a super common operator for Chalet. I mean, you'll see it certainly on the dining wall. You'll see it, of course, top floor on the office wall. Sometimes you'll see it on the hatch as well. If teams want to go for like a clash strategy where they're not opening the dining hatch in the basement. So Kaid has his uses. He's a good operator here, but not the most common ban by any means out of the defenders. So yeah, fun little choice coming out from CL for Life. A couple of strong defenders still left on the board. Unlike in map 1, Valkyrie will be available, Azami will be available, Fenrir will continue to be available. It was extremely oppressive back on Consulate, as well as all the other strong defensive operators that we see here in Rainbow Six Siege. So, as we jump into our very first round of Kitchen and Dining, CL for Life have chosen to start on the defense. They're going to need a strong first half if they want to bounce back and have a good chance of taking their opponent's map pick. We'll see if they can cook up. Adam on the Azami, and a strong off lineup to follow him up.
A Vigil ban. Do we have Vigil ban numbers for Brazil?
Yeah, if you give me a sec.
Okay. Jesse is Nerd Boy, aka Numbers Boy.
Whoa.
Jesse has a giant database and spreadsheet of basically everything that we need. So we rely on him to find us this information. Can I get a thank you, Jesse, in the chat? Really appreciate that.
Vigil was banned once in all of Brazil. Who banned him? Great question. We may never know.
Because Jesse doesn't have that information. Well, he does.
Oh, I found it. FaZe did against W7M. I got lucky with that.
You're very welcome. Oh. Ask was fired up in the previous map. Can he keep up that momentum? Can he keep up that energy level? As this should be on paper a better result for Black Dragons, just based on the way that these things go. Oh my. Ask didn't do a single point of damage there. The shotguns for CL4L have been really something, haven't they? Packer usually the one with that in hand, but Giddy will get the very first kill in this map.
Glad I spent the entire pre-map glazing Ask, and he's the opening death. Love that. Giddy a good shot to come out with the shotgun. 9 health, to be fair. That should be an easy trade for anybody who encounters Giddy, and with those line scans spotting his location, you got to imagine that fight will come out any moment here, but they don't actually have anybody in the building. On the side of Black Dragons, they're throwing in Candelas. They've got a lot of players on windows, but nobody's actually rappelled on in. So Giddy has the opportunity to just sit inside of office, hide himself away, play these defensive, safe positions. Black Dragons got to get going here. They've used 2 Candelas. They've gotten no picks on the top floor. Eventually, they've got to either rappel in and try to make something happen with top floor control, or they're going to have to give up. And based on where players are starting to move, I mean, they don't look like they're rappelling in anytime soon. A Lion charge. There's the rappel in now from the IQ of Hornet, but nothing yet.
There go the Candelas and Hornet now over towards Stellarium. Mag dumping, not able to find anything. Giddy with a second kill, but finished off by Hornet in that position. Now it's Nuxka engaging over towards Uzi, but he's caught in a crossfire and dropped inside of office. Pino eliminating Gudo, and it's all CL4L in that round as they clobber Black Dragons before BD can even get towards the bomb site on the main floor.
struggling to find much of an entry point on the top floor, obviously. Black Dragons, they had the Candelas. That should be their key into the site, right? That should be how you get going on the top floor push. I hear Packer yelling, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good.
Oh, there's a technical pause, so I assume that's...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope that means that it's a short technical pause.
I hope so too, Jesse.
I'm hearing it will be a short tech pause, but I'm also seeing players leave the lobby. So we might be here for a quick minute, but I doubt it's going to be a long-standing issue. So bear with us as we get this figured out. But no, I think for the first round in, Black Dragons, not a super inspiring attack. You know, this is their map pick. This is where we want to see Black Dragons shining the brightest. And clearing that top floor proved to be a really big challenge for them. I think, honestly, once they lost Ask, they kind of just stalled out after that. Ask, again, is the IGL. He is the leader of this team. For him to immediately go down, you got to wonder, does that cause the team to stall out a bit? Does that give the team some pause? Does it lack them in direction? Obviously, from the grave, Ask will still be IGLing. He will still be giving his teams commands, and oftentimes people say it is easier to IGL after you've already died. That's why you see a lot of top IGLs playing aggressively on the roam, so they can go out, do their thing, die, and then IGL from the grave. Canadian does this quite a bit. Lagonis has been starting to do it recently. And so you think maybe that will enable Black Dragons to get in, but it just didn't happen in that very first round. They had the tools, they had the Candelas, they had the opportunities, but very patient, very cautious on the side of CL4L. They gave nothing up for free. And so maybe that's something Black Dragons just need to adapt to, right? They need to recognize that CL4L, despite being a young squad, they're not going to give you these gunfights unless it's advantageous for them. So you just got to go in and take those for yourself. But it's a long map, and the early part of these rounds are always going to be about scouting your opponent, learning what they want to do, and I think it's fine to drop one here at the start.
It's an update for everybody. We have all of Black Dragons in the lobby at the moment, and we are just down a single player on the side of CL4L, and that's Giddy,
Yep.
who sits all the way at the end of the bench.
Please tweet at Giddy, get in the lobby.
No.
He's in! It worked.
Wow, that was very quick.
It was.
And who says Twitter's dead? Most metrics. That's fine. But the tweets were able to give him the power to get back in.
Yo, then Giddy, you gotta come play site faster.
Giddy going to play site faster in this next round, hopefully. Some instructions from Packer.
Giddy's playing a zombie as well, so get to site faster. So assuming that this will be a roam upstairs would be my guess with those Kiva barriers.
Yep.
Waste time, fall off, get to site faster. That's the plan.
Yeah, you want those Kibas available in the bomb sites, try to make yourself some angles. There's not the strongest Kiba positions in the basement, but I mean, any position really is going to be good for a zombie, so. Not so shocking. You can make some really good spots actually over here by blue stairs. That might be where we see Giddy playing late round. Could start towards the top, work his way down. Uzi also going to be jumping back on that Mozzie. We've seen some good Mozzie play today. Earlier on in our first match of the day, we saw some really good stuff coming out from Cyclops, actually. Had some really cool Mozzie play where they got a lot of good intel out of it. Back when they were winning against G2. Didn't quite last. Oh, that's free. Uzi finds Ask just out on his drone in the middle of nowhere. They thought, all right, it's okay. We banned the Vigil. They're not going to spawn peek us. Wrong. What is an operator who denies drones and can spawn peek? Exactly. That's Mozzie. So Uzi says, you can ban my op. It doesn't matter. Still getting the job done.
All that yelling in round number 1 to start off 0-2. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and well, it is winter in Montreal.
It's fall.
Montreal doesn't have fall, it has summer, and then a week of fall, and then winter.
And we're in that week. It
and
was
then
exceptionally
construction.
warm today.
And then construction.
Wow. Okay.
There's another pick coming out for CL4L. Hornet repels in the Solarium window. Uzi is still holding this position on that top floor. CL4L is more than one player up top holding that map control. This is really caught Black Dragons flat-footed.
Uzi, awkward fight to be taking, but Guto's not hitting his shots, and Uzi is beautifully done. Finally taken down by Nuxka, but his job is done. He's dealt so much damage, leaves Nuxka only alive in the 1v4, and he's being hunted by Adam. Adam heeding the advice of his teammate in the pregame, saying, I'm going to go back to site. They don't have to get aggressive and potentially throw this if they play cautious. I mean, this should be a absolutely free round. Nuxka, a player who has had his stumbles so far this stage, could all be made up for with this 1v4.
Practically matched his kill total for map number 1 already, so...
Oh boy, oh boy.
His gun's not working. See, that would explain it. Bino's is. Bino with the final kill, CL4L starting off 2-0. All the momentum that Black Dragons had, especially in their head, seemingly gone through those 2 rounds.
And a huge round from Uzi, especially. I mean, you've got to credit him, 3K up on the roam. The 19-year-old with 500,000 followers across YouTube and TikTok.
How much?
500K. I think it's 300 on YouTube, 200 on TikTok.
Yeah, they never did.
I'm sure we got a lot of Uzi fans watching out now. As attack timeout gets called from Black Dragons, they start to try to figure out what's going wrong in this game. Only down 2-0. It's an early attack, but the biggest problem's been Uzi here. We're seeing him have so much good impact out there on the roam. You saw his good play. A little tired. You saw his good play on the Mozzie. Easy work for him. It's early, to be fair. It's 2 p.m. Probably not up by this hour most of the time. He had some pests. He had a pest still in his pocket when he ended up dying, but you saw the value of the pest inside a bathroom.
I don't want them to walk in bar.
Yes, sure. Yeah, because if they're close on a door and they're like, Ash, do it? I can't see it. It's cooked.
Like on my door?
Yeah, more.
I have a shit.
Still found great work, is what I'm trying to say out of that utility. And he's going to jump right back on that same operator of the Mozzie. Not a critically popular operator for most players, but Uzi clearly does great work with it, so I'm going to let him cook.
Call your timeout after 2 rounds is really quite terrible. It also means that even if Black Dragons manage to cauterize the wound, that the moment that it springs a leak, well, they will have some struggles for the remainder of this match. We call it a parachute, we'll call it pulling the ripcord, etc. Either way, they will not have anywhere near the safety to find some footing for the remainder of this map. They get it back if we go to labs. With the way CL4L has come out swinging, it stands to reason that we might actually see labs, but CL4L got to pick the side. They picked defense. Win the first 2 rounds, maybe, just maybe, CL4L is playing on the favorable side, and when the side swap comes in, we see this matchup tighten quite a lot.
Early attack from Ghost, the coach of Black Dragons. Been coaching this team for about a year, all of 2024. Started in Stage 1, and including the offseason right before Stage 1, so through the winter. Was in Tier 2 before that as a coach, coaching onto the team Nova Claytons. One of the top Tier 2 teams inside of Brazil, but certainly not a known quantity. Him getting some first international experience as well here with Black Dragons. As far as CL for Life go on this 3rd defense, of course, they are on games. They're on their 3rd bomb site. This, in theory, would be the easiest for Black Dragons to win. One big problem we saw from both teams was the roam clear in the early, in the first map, and in the second map, it will continue. Ask 0-3 to start this off, and Packer, the initial aggression. Uzi, in the exact same position, playing the exact same operator, gets the exact same result. I wouldn't have seen that coming.
Now some serious struggles by Black Dragons to contain these defenders upstairs in Solarium. BD gets on the board at the halfway point of the round with Gudo eliminating Bino. Bino as the Legion means that a lot of that utility will die in his pocket. It will not be available for them to generate over time. This Black Dragon squad's still trying to tackle this top floor, Jesse.
They are, and again, with a man disadvantage, it's not going to be any easier. Uzi's fallen off, so they at least don't have to deal with him anymore. He's back on site. I guess they'll have to deal with him eventually. He's Kiba is just making it a nightmare to clear through the top floor anyways. Packer's coming up to join his teammate of Adam, trying to work their way around this top floor, but he might get punished for it. In an awkward position, they know exactly where he is. They've got yellow pings on him as well. You've got to imagine Packer doesn't get out of this one alive unless there's some hero plays coming out from his teammates.
Uzi dies to Florio, Gudo dies to Packer. Both of these teams losing bodies. The swing well coordinated as Florio's drawn in, and Packer gets the exit pick. It's all up to Nuxka in a 1v3.
I've seen this one before.
His gun fires blanks. That time around, I don't even think he got to pull the trigger. Adam pounces upon him, but there was more than one player of CL4L upstairs in library looking for the pick.
I think Bodega, the coach of CL4L, is having more fun yelling at Black Dragons in Portuguese than he cares to admit. But hey, go off. Something he's very used to, I'm sure.
What's harder, JJ or this?
JJ would have been shitting all over us right now.
Daddy JJ?
He might be big.
Bro, these guys are fucking idiots. The way they just repel in solar. They just.
Shout out to JJ Blast of Space Station Academy. Mentioned on the main stream. Oh boy, CL for life. Finding it too easy right now, Parker. I mean, you can't really blame him. I mean, Ask is 0-3. Everybody else is 1-3. Nobody has yet to find more than one kill throughout this matchup. Feels like Black Dragons are really struggling with their entry points. I mean, even in that last round, you saw Packer. Yes, his teammate Adam was struggling maybe a bit. He had some pressure top floor with the zombie. Packer's like, okay, I'm gonna go help out my teammate. Runs up to a terrible position. He's inside of the small library box where he's got the hatch so they can drop down. They know exactly where he is. They've got all eyes trained on him, and he gets 2 kills out of who knows where. Obviously, CL for life, playing with their food a little bit here, and they're not done. A spawn peek from Uzi. The confidence abundant, but no opportunities this time.
Yeah, you got him on the ropes. You burned their timeout 2 rounds ago. You might as well continue to play that game of mental warfare. All the while this is happening, by the way, we want to give a shout out to the second stream. The B stream is currently in the midst of Alpha versus Falcons. It's a team from LATAM versus a team from the Middle East. And spoilers inbound. Just moments ago, Alpha won their first round. It was 6-0 Falcons. It was Falcons' map pick, admittedly. There's a delay, so when you hear this, the matchup might be over, but feel free to go over to the B stream. Take a look at our second matchup. Uzi with the very first pick, but it's answered very quickly back by Ask finally breaking that goose egg and getting on the board. Every single player on Black Dragons with a kill. 5 kills across 4 active rounds is dreadfully bad. BD have not spawned in for Chalet yet.
And they've got, okay, this is good though. They've got perfect intel on Uzi. They see him on the library stairs. I don't know if they can really capitalize on this. He's got Packer up here as well, who's not been droned out, but they should know that he's gonna be crossing this window soon. Here's the gunfight. Guto just walks up the stairs. Uzi actually gets the trade. A great little flick finds Guto. Packer sacrificed for that beautiful shot. Still 3-on-3 though. This is a decent spot for Black Dragons to be in. If they can just pin down Uzi, then they're in a really good position. They also do have top floor control, and Giddy is up here inside of Solar. But if they find him out full top control, that could also be a really good advantage to eventually go for the top down execute.
Nuxka sees a player but cannot return fire. Now through the wall looking for a lucky shot, but just too many reinforcements, too many hard walls in the way, and CL4L have held this map control and fallen back, but they'll trust Bino to hold this position upstairs over top of the bomb site. Bino, a nice pick on to Ask, another player there towards bathroom door, and one even farther back in towards office. CL4L speed running this map at the current moment. Uzi and Giddy still very much alive, despite the fact that we are focused on one player on CL4L.
30 seconds now. Soft breach coming out from Black Dragons. They've got a bit of it. Flores drones doing what they can, as well as those breaching charges from Florio. Florio and Flores working together in this round. Not gonna find anything though. Giddy, the information's just not there. Nuxka again in a 1vx situation. Can he find a frag this time? He won't be able to.
Giddy with the final 2 kills and a 4-0 start for CL4L. This is the time where we would...
Windows, he just jumps in library. Dude, you wanna go classroom now?
I mean, yeah, okay, listen, you guys gotta fall off the roam faster. Fall off the roam faster, bro.
I'm gonna play as only,
you guys gotta fall off faster because, what's it called? Like, we can literally win the time with my clash and save. We just win for our lives.
So you hear the strategy. We've got the clash on the board for Packer. All you need to do is surround him with a strong enough supporting cast and win the round with the clash. Packer has been... How do I say this? the most important part of CL4L since their LCQ run began. And not only do you bring leadership, but he's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk by statistically being one of the best players on this team through the entirety of the LCQ.
Absolutely. I mean, Adam's been probably their best, and Tristan was good, but Packer has absolutely been putting up those numbers as well. 1.11 through the LCQ, so absolutely positive. For Black Dragons, I mean, I hate to say it, but like the CL for Life guys are saying right. The intel's never there. The opening picks are constantly being taken advantage of, and they banned out the Vigil, I think, because they knew they were going to have problems finding information on those aggressive roaming players. But Uzi just said, that's fine, I'll play the Mozzie, and he's achieving very similar results. It still feels like Black Dragons don't have that information advantage. They're not bringing that Dokkaebi to try to help out with that. They've got some decent tools like the Lion, but there's no Deimos being brought out in this round at least either. It just feels like the struggles have mounted upon themselves over and over again. And now, with no attack timeout, it's a 4-0 lead for CL for Life. They've got a clash set up down inside of the basement. I don't mind if Uzi, you know... Oh, okay, Giddy goes 1-for-1 on the roam. I don't mind if Uzi stays on the roam for a bit, because he has been playing so incredibly well. But now that Giddy's gone 1-for-1, you took out the Thermite, I'm just seeing. Maybe it does make more sense to fall on back to the bomb site. Assuming Florio didn't get to use those extra thermocharges before he went down, this could be a really awkward spot. Oh, he opened the wall. Never mind. Never mind, the wall is open. But regardless, 4v4 is going to feel good for CL for Life. With that clash inside the site, they can absolutely just win on time. Still Uzi hasn't left the roam, though. Up in piano.
What did they say? Fall off the roam faster. Fall off the roam faster. My clash can get the job done. Nuxka picks up yet another kill, but an impact grenade thrown out by Uzi will actually take down what remained of Nuxka. And Uzi had a strong first map, even stronger second so far, leading the team with 7 kills. The Tom Brady of CL4L. 3v2. Not really able for CL4L to fall off the roam at this point. It's just the Clash and Bino remaining.
Over a minute still to work on this site as well. The walls are all open. Hornet's going to be on the main breach while Guto and Ask are over towards Wine. They've got to re-pick up the kit, but I believe it's just in... Oh, it's actually outside the main breach. So Guto should be able to go get it. He's onto it now. That kind of limits their plant potential. I guess Ask has smokes. Planting just inside the breach can be kind of awkward without smokes. As I say that, Hornet's going to rotate around, so they can really plant wherever they'd like. It looks like it might go down just the snow stairs so they can plant behind the bookshelf. Does somewhat put Packer in a good position to stop that, and the time is starting to get a little bit low here. This will be the job. If Packer or Bino can deny this plant, then they're in a really good spot, but they're not really positioned well to do just that.
Packer's a good gun, and he's got the sidearm out. Bino getting very aggressive. 1 for Packer, 2 for Packer, and now he's a Clash in a 1v1 with 15 seconds to go. Time to pull out the shield and play keep away. Diffuser not in the pocket of Ask, and as he tries to get ever closer, Packer will just continue to run away. Sidearm out. Ask, but you shall not receive.
I did it!
Don't call it to you, don't call it to you. No way.
5-0 CL4L.
Oh, Packer. Yes, you are. Man, ridiculous stuff down in the basement.
I'm the king, Burger King!
Let's go, baby. Come on, do more. I mean, bro, I told you, Hornetail's not going 10-2 again, bro. That was insane. Everyone's just so good at map.
You can tell the confidence is there, right? A complete night and day difference from map 1 when we saw this team just not really able to get into a groove. The momentum on Consulate felt like it was always in the hands of Black Dragons. Now the complete opposite is true. CL for Life, undefeated, 5-0. I gotta say in that round, Packer told his whole team, guys, you don't have to roam too long, just retreat back to site, come back early. They absolutely did not do that. A minute 40 into the round, still fighting players inside of kitchen and dining. They lost 3 players out on the roam. It put Packer into a pretty awkward position, but Packer's a pretty great player, and so he's still able to pull it out. Excellent Clash play. Nothing to say for Ask there. I mean, that 1v1 against Clash with 11 seconds is nearly unwinnable for anybody. He did his best, but he had no shot at that round. So Packer, just from ridiculous shots being hit, And of course, that's going to put CL for Life in an excellent position. You have seen hero play after hero play. Not even hero plays like they need to be saved, but just big individual rounds where Uzi or Packer are popping off. And oh no. Oh no. Now there's a default cam up, Parker.
From bad to worse for Black Dragons, and would you look at that? Uzi with the run out, enabled by that information. Florio gets one right back. But that's Gudo gone. That's the Twitch drone gone. It's a little bit of information and a little bit of gadget denial removed from Black Dragons. Uzi's pests are likely already down, and they will be passive gadgets for the remainder of the round.
That's just mental being shocked on the side of Black Dragons. I mean, you're not shooting the default. They jump out, they kill you. That's a direct mistake. That's so easy to fix. Now Nux got caught out. He tried to enter in through the basement, but caught on the west main stairs. Easily cleaned up by Giddy, who's also putting up 6 and 2. Nobody's got bad numbers today on CL for Life. Hard to when you're going 5 and 0 on the round count. On the side of Black Dragons now, man disadvantage. They got kitchen control, you know. That's something for sure. They don't have top floor. Of course, Packer, Adam, and Giddy all playing up around library and mezzanine. You've got Florio with Kit inside of kitchen. Hornet's going to go harass the library window at this point, but he's got no help. Ask the last player, who's, I believe, just walked in the front door. They can pinch to the player in the mezzanine. This could be a pick, but it'll be Ask who needs to get into this gunfight where the flashes come out to support. Keep up barriers make it so awkward, though. What do you do against this? Ban a zombie, that's what you do.
I mean, there's a reason why she is the most banned defender. Nice swing by Hornet onto the window. Down goes Giddy, maybe getting a bit too bold, a bit too brazen, and now it's Packer's turn to be spotted out, and Adam as well will join. Nobody from CL4L seemed to understand where Black Dragons were coming from. Bino gets the down on the Hornetal, but he can't secure. Maybe from below he could. Be very careful about what's at the hatch. Oh my goodness. Ask and Bino in a 1v1. Oh no! Play keep away. You don't know where he's coming from, Bino. You're spotted by the bees. Go for the reload. There goes the goo mine. Grenade tossed out, and Ask just plays that one a little bit better. First round for Black Dragons comes in round number 6. CL4L still well situated to win their opponent's map as they sit up 5-1.
That's the experience coming through from Ask taking out Bino in the 1v1. You could tell Ask cool, calm, and collected.
Windows for 6 rounds in a row, but besides that factor.
Yo, Attack, remember yesterday, step by step, call rotations. Don't forget the fucking office holes, Adam.
Nah.
That will be good.
I'm sensing something may have happened in scrims about Adam forgetting to make some holes.
Yeah. This is everyone's first lane.
Really, not mine.
This is everyone's first land. That's correct.
Not Bodega's.
It's correct. You are correct on that one. That is for sure.
Obviously, this is still a great result, despite the fact that you did lose that final round. Could be some start of a jumping off point in terms of momentum for Black Dragons. So go to the defense, and I think defense did look better for both teams on the first map, but Chalet's a very different beast from Consulate. It's a much easier map to attack in comparison to Consulate. In fact, I would say it's one of the easiest maps to attack, which is certainly worrying for Black Dragons. Now that they move off of that side and over to the defense themselves, they got to get something going. Ask clutches with a 3K, I think, in that last round. That gives them a bit of life, but they'll need to do a lot more than that to stop CL for Life, who now move onto their attacking side. Uzi, you can tell he's confident because he's picked Twitch and he's running the F2. Nobody who's having a bad day picks the F2 on Twitch. Uzi's bringing it out like I'm him.
I mean, Uzi has every reason to feel that.
Absolutely.
8 kills so far on map number 2. Uzi in map number 1 was statistically the lowest rated player on Consulate. Is that correct? No, that can't be correct.
Wow. His teammate will get the opening pick to start things. Hornet goes down. They're still hunting for picks around these windows. Did Uzi get that pick? I actually believe with the Twitch drone, he's going to finish it off. That's for sure. 3 zaps, and he will get credit for that one. Beautifully done. He continues to rack up his stat line, 9 and 4 now. At the same time, Adam does go down to Florio. So that's a Scorpion, another equally difficult gun to control. Scorpion versus the F2 in 2024.
No. I told you the Scorpion was easy to control.
Yep, you did say that on a broadcast.
And I'm wrong. I am incorrect. I have led you astray. You believed me. You believe
we all did.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
That's so true.
My lies, they're very funny. They're funny lies. I mean no harm. I just like to joke around, that's all.
Still 3 players holding down this top floor if you include Florio in the library stairs. Ask inside a library, Guto here at the mezzanine window. This is a tough thing to clear out, especially without Adam having access to those Ash charges to clear out the mirror window. And the Kiba, wow, there's no Kiba barriers actually being brought by Black Dragons. Interesting decision. Firebolt could be a good answer. Probably doesn't get a kill or anything, but might force the player off of that window for a time. It does. It forces Ask forward, which they almost capitalize off. In the meantime, the F2 finds a second head, and the kills are just flying, Parker.
Nuxco with a 3rd kill, taking out Packer, as now Uzi marches over towards Library. Gudo in that position. There's the fire to take out Ask that you talked about. Nuxka and Gudo, last 2 remaining. Nitro Cell ripped over towards blue stairs, and there's the, oh my! Spray transfer over the shield from Uzi. Gudo dies, and now Nuxka goes right back to where he was at before. Uzi looking for a 4th kill in this round, and he will find it!
We got an attack!
Fucking go, baby, bro. Let's go.
Step by step, boys. Step by step. Step by step. Step by step, baby. Step by step. Let's go.
6-1 for CL4L.
I will remind everyone that Uzi not only is not a professional player, none of these guys are currently professional players.
What?
Uzi's not even a tier 2 player.
Look at me with a straight face when you say that. No, say the last part.
You might have to, something about like a big chungus hole, perhaps. A big chungus hole?
No big chungus is on land?
Bro, I should be streaming this right now.
No, my money! Bro, my... I'll find it later, bro.
Uzi has not ever even played in Tier 2, not played in Challenger League, not played in the Element Series either. He's only played Tier 3 tournaments before this. He did play in some qualifiers. He played in the Montreal Open qualifier, I will say. He got top 8 in the second Open qualifier. That puts him in about top 100 players North America, if you assume that the 100 best players all played in like the North American League and the qualifiers. He's certainly a good player. Nobody would ever deny that. But he's often been somewhat overlooked, or maybe he's just prioritized content. I don't know his exact situation. But regardless, he's never really been a staple of the competitive scene. Only 19, so he hasn't had the opportunity to be playing competitive for very long. But regardless, he's always been more towards the lower end of things. But having a great game today here against Black Dragons, certainly making a name for himself. He's been their MVP this map. And if they go on to win this series, make a bit of a run in this tournament, I think a lot of teams are going to be looking his direction in the future if he chooses to go that route. Tier 2 or maybe even Tier 1. I don't know. We'll see how the tournament goes.
Getting awfully ahead of yourself.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself, aren't I? But it's
you're feeling the buzz. You're feeling the buzz of CL4L, aren't you?
It's easy to get excited about a fresh young player who's playing so well. Okay, Uzi, that one's my bad. My fault. Sorry about that.
What have you done?
Caster cursed.
Ask dies, Uzi dies. CL4L 4 kills away from taking their opponent's map. Are we sure? This is not me. Production, don't take this serious. Are we sure we didn't get the map picks wrong? 2 for 2, potentially. Where, you know, CAG and G2 won each other's maps, and we think, oh, that's kind of crazy. And then this year, we see them taking each other's maps, and we're like, well, it's crazy again.
Maybe they're being kind. Maybe they're saying, okay, guys, I'll pick you a map. Pick you a map you're good at. And the other team goes, oh, you shouldn't have. We'll do the same.
Labs is a tiebreaker. You did put on your analyst hat. Rather, I fixed the hat on you, actually.
I told you we were going map 3.
You were, and you might be correct. I mean, there is a long road back for Black Dragons, but the road is definitely there. The question is whether or not Black Dragons has the stamina and ability to make that happen.
The road is there. It's not been paved in 10 years. The infrastructure is crumbling on it. But it's there.
And you have to fight Tom Brady. Who is currently not playing because Uzi is dead. So, a lot of things for Black Dragons to do here.
They haven't entered the building at all for this push. I mean, we've got Adam inside a library, but otherwise it's been a lot of window play. Here comes the fights now as they get on in. Adam out of nowhere, 2 big kills. Everybody on Black Dragons, they've melted. Now it's all on Hornet to get a 1v3 clutch. He finds the first, he finds the second inside the site though, leaving just Adam alive in the 1v1. Both players on 5 kills total through the map. 30 seconds as Adam's gonna rotate over towards Solar. Gonna drop the staircase now. Some warning shots will give out this information. Hornet knows exactly where he's at. Doesn't have the fuse kit, so this is going to be a 1v1 fight to the death. Repositioning over towards the potted plant. Adam on the other side of things. Knows he doesn't have a lot of time to work with. Only 15 seconds now. He's starting to push up towards the left, juking and jiving, choosing his selection, but Hornet hits the shot. Big 1v3 to keep Black Dragons alive in their second map.
I mean, that's a motivation buster right there. I gotta think CL4L should have won that round. But I mean, we don't play things in theory. We don't play matches on paper.
So he gets the free kill.
That's right, bro. I should've killed
Time. That's on me, guys. That round's on me. We're good.
Don't worry, that round's on Packer, guys. Don't worry.
That's actually
Excellent.
He dropped in front of my eyes on the BP.
I thought, was he in kitchen holding you? I thought he was, sorry, my bad. Giddy, I thought he was on the house. I mean, I refragged you, but.
Rounds like that, they happen. It really comes down to, do you let it affect you? And I honestly really respect a player who's able to just step up and like, guys, it's on me. Don't worry about it. Nobody's blaming each other. You don't expect that at the highest level, but sometimes for a tier 2 team, like, that will happen. A lot of maturity on these guys, despite being such young players and despite having so little experience. You really do see that maturity shining through in their comms and in their play. So I like that a lot from Packer, taking responsibility. Even if it wasn't his fault, even if he doesn't believe that, I think just saying that is like very good for your team's morale, right? Like, don't blame each other, just play the game. You're still up 6-2, right? You cannot tilt off of a round 8 loss when you're leading 6-1, right? Yeah. Like, it's fine. Still an easy map to close out for CL4L. In theory.
Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee Black Dragons winning 5 rounds in a row on defense.
With no tack timeout.
With no tack timeout. That was burned in that second round, as we discussed. Don't know what's gone wrong for Black Dragons here, but just not playing like themselves.
Trying to bail them out. Ask has moved over to the Scopos. I will say my favorite scope, I would say the greatest Scopos play of all time in competitive, came from Ask on this map against the world champions back in the regular season when they played their BO1. That one took 15 maps. It was a great play from Ask. That was the basement site, so a bit of a different situation. But Ask's breaking out the operator once again here on Baron Games. Could be a big surprise if they don't drone out the fact that there is one of those Scopos bodies down in the basement. Could come up for a late flank, maybe up the library stairs. Plenty of options for him to go for, and here comes the swap. So he's inside of Wine, and he's heading his way to the snow stairs, it seems. No, it's actually an impact outside the breach, but nobody's there.
He's very close to one of these players from Black Dragons, but he will change things up, and now he is by... Oh, you gotta swap, you gotta swap! Yep. In theory, shouldn't it not really take damage from fire?
It heats up. You know, the bolts, they'll melt off.
Ah, of course. Oh my, Florio defeating Packer in that engagement. Packer's been loving the shotguns. On the library stairs, though, he has some struggles. Adam bails himself out of a bad position. But it's Uzi who won't find himself with the same bit of luck. 2 kills for Black Dragons. They become 3 kills for Black Dragons. And something's gonna break now for CL4L as they have surrendered the first 3 kills. They found very little for it. Bino dropped to Ask, and now it's all up to Giddy. A flawless round from Black Dragons as a comeback begins in earnest. Again, site rotation for Black Dragons will be of particular importance. There's the flawless round. Ask with a huge round. 3 kills for Ask, was that?
I believe so.
Terrific stuff. Black Dragons closing the gap.
Again, great stuff.
It's one of the two. It's basement or master. Let's just play. I mean, this round, like, just play refrags. Just take our time, right? Like, bro, these guys are fucking like, they gave us all the map control. Like, they're playing so scared. I didn't want you guys to make noise. I was trying to go off timing. If I told you to flash grenade, I actually killed him.
It's fine still, but this is a couple rounds in a row now for Black Dragons. And again, I do think Ask is an incredibly good Scopos player. The flank back to the basement didn't do a whole lot there. You're starting to see CL4L struggled to capitalize on some of their opportunities. You know, the fact that Ask was in that library corner, he gets burned out by the Capital bolts. He's then kind of slowly, to an extent, got to rotate out through the hatch. You can watch that. It's tight angle, but you should be able to watch that and punish him as he tries to drop out. It's not the easiest thing, but it didn't look like anybody on CL4L was even attempting to hold it. So Ask got out of that position pretty much for free, and then you saw how much damage he was able to do later on in the round after that point. So you see these opportunities to get picks kind of slipping by CL4L. That's something you can't really be letting happen, okay? And now that Ask is back onto this operator, now we're running the site where he really did put on a great performance up against Furia earlier on in this stage. His first clone will be up on top of the top floor. He's breaking this out because this is another position where he typically likes to rat, and then he can rotate back to this position and go for a flank to anybody who's pushing in through wine. He did this against Furia. Of course, if the enemy team clears Big Garage, it doesn't do a whole lot. But at the moment, they will open it up and not actually choose to engage. He takes a bit of damage inside of Big Garage as this main wall gets opened up. I really don't think CL4L, based on the operator lineup that they've brought, are too concerned with Big Garage. Maybe Bino will find a 1v1 out there and somebody will come away with the win, but no, the game plan is pretty obvious at this point. They're going for a smoke plant main breach.
Over towards Garage, that's where the assault will come from. One Selma charge goes out to open up the wall as Uzi gets pick numero uno onto the smoke of Max.
Yeah, not great.
Not great at all. Ask has lost one of those drones too.
And his gun.
That's terrible. Amidst the smoke, Packer getting diffuser down, and there go the logic bombs as well, and CL4L will now scramble into the post plant. A yawning chasm. Right now, under watch from the attackers. Bino dies. Uzi with a second, pulls out the sidearm over towards Trench. Almost takes out the Scopos of Ask. 3v3, far more winnable. But there are the marks to give information to CL4L. The glass from far enough away in the hands of Adam, and he will graciously accept every defender that attempts to get close. He sees one. The double swing, Adam with yet another kill, and that's map number 2. CL4L sniping Black Dragon's map away from them. We go to labs to settle this one. Another day, another series where the teams win each other's maps.
We're going all the way, Parker. It was prophesized. And a big map coming out from Uzi, of course. The last second substitute coming in with some huge roams playing that Mozzie. Fantastic. And also a big kill in that final round. The opening onto Nuxka playing the smoke near Big Garage. A critical kill. Had to stay alive in that final round. As soon as the smoke goes down, you've got very limited options for denying the smoke plant.
Especially with the glass on the other side, right? Yep. You toss out the Toxic Babe, it'll at least stop that plant from going down, but when you can't do that, you have to dry peek that Garage, and you are going to die every single time. And Adam held that position down with the glass. But as the teams talked about and CL4L discussed, the real focus was how scared Black Dragons looked. They were on the ropes that entire matchup. And honestly, this one probably should have been over before we got to the point we got to.
Yeah, some mistakes from CL4L, maybe get that a little bit closer. Black Dragons, they start to get some life in them, but as soon as they have a clean round, as soon as they get those opening picks where they can execute their strategy of going for a simple smoke plant up on the main breach of Snowmobile, they pull it off flawlessly, no problems at all for CL4L. So feeling very, very good. They will have the momentum as we move on to Night Haven Labs, which will be an extremely fun map to watch between these two teams.
Yeah, and we only have a short break before we get to it. Who comes out on top? Black Dragons or CL4L? One more map. That's it. We'll be right back.
There's no hiding. Not for you. Not for me. Try not to disappoint me, soldier.
Well, we've arrived at our very final map between Black Dragons and CL4L. Nighthaven Labs will settle the score between these two teams. Their opponents for tomorrow have already been figured out. In our matchup earlier today, the Japanese team of CAG Osaka was defeated by G2 2-1, meaning G2 vaults up, and one more victory pushes G2 into Phase 2. G2 will face the winner of this matchup. CAG Osaka will face the loser of this matchup, and the loser of that matchup will be going home. Funny enough, as you see on the bottom of your screen, the opposing team won each other's maps. Black Dragons winning CL4L's map 7-4, CL4L winning Black Dragons map 7-3. The exact same thing happened in CAG Osaka versus G2. I'm Intero, this is Jesse. We're not on your screen because you're seeing the players instead. There's somebody that you'd rather lay eyes on than us. And boy, oh boy, am I excited for Nighthaven Labs.
Me too, Parker. I mean, this is a map that really does differentiate the good from the great. Nighthaven Labs is a tough map to play sometimes. It's big. There's a lot of roaming going on. I think what we saw on both maps, less so from CL4L because they didn't really get many attacking round opportunities on Chalet. But both teams struggled to really deal with the roamers. The roam clear on both sides was certainly a weakness on map 1. Map 2, I think we saw that coming back for Black Dragons, where they really struggled to clear out Uzi. I can tell you right now that Black Dragons are starting attack on Nighthaven Labs. It is a big map. It's a tough map to roam clear sometimes. That needs to be better if they don't want to see CL4Life running away with an early lead here on the decider matchup. Again, the loser of this goes on to play Cyclops in an elimination match. So this is a critically important map to win if you're either team. Both these teams may be underdogs in the tournament as a whole, but I think both of them came into this expecting their ability, expecting that they could walk away with the win. Both teams may be underestimating each other. Only one of them can be right, though.
In terms of numbers, honestly, it's a pretty even spread between the top 9 players in the lobby. There's only one standout, and that's Nuxka. Only 4 kills so far in the entire series. That is just simply not good enough, period. You've got your support players showing up, getting kills. They're trading themselves out. They're helping their teammates. Nuxka is often playing on those middle roles, not exactly support-oriented roles. He is engaging in fights, on attack, fairly often, on defense. There were a lot of rounds on Chalet where he was the first line of defense, and yet wouldn't succeed in those gunfights. The next lowest in terms of kills after Nuxka is 11, and that's Adam, sitting at 11 and 13 with Nuxka at 4 and 16. Depending on his deployment here on Nighthaven Labs, and this is a map that Brazil knows quite well, just as Chalet was, that didn't really mean much in the previous matchup. If Nuxka plays a more sheltered role and allows the rest of the team to show up and frag out, that means Hornet, Ask, Florio, then the chances of Black Dragons winning will shoot up.
We start with the Monty ban here on Nighthaven. That's the only operator CL4Life have ever banned on Nighthaven, so that's not a huge surprise. And we get the Blitz once again. Not a surprise. Both shields have been banned in every map so far this series, and that will continue to be the case. We saw a little bit of Fuse play, but so far it hasn't really been a big factor in this game. Some trash talk going on between the players of CL4L dedicated at each other. Some infighting, perhaps. I don't think it's going to get them too down. This should be a Tubarao, maybe an Azami. Those are the only 2 ops that they've banned on this map. It's Tubarao, so very standard bans for CL4Life. This should be very expected for them. And the Goyo ban, a little bit weird for sure. But I mean, CL4Life literally said 3 for 3 in the chat, expecting that Blitz ban, and they got it. So, I mean, no surprises whatsoever coming out. That means that there's going to be a lot of good ops on the board. Azami continues to be an operator that will exist in this series. So will Valkyrie. So will a lot of these important
I was going to say, so will Azami, right? Azami saw an incredible amount of importance in previous maps, and now she will be free reign over the entirety of Nighthaven Labs. And Azami is functioning currently in the meta in a number of ways. Most commonly, teams like to use her off-site to basically create a fortress or another stronghold that's removed from the actual objective. On a map like this, when you see teams defend that top floor, Azami will often stretch out from the top floor over towards rafters and catwalk area.
Yep.
When you see a lack of Tubarão on the board, it means that teams are not going to heavily invest in keeping that IT wall closed. They're probably going to drop down a mute jammer, maybe some bandit batteries, maybe an electric claw, and then just leave it as is. Teams will then need to either A, take it out with some kind of gadgetry, or B, bring a Maverick to deal with it. As you can see from the lineup from Black Dragons, they're going to bring the Maverick right off the rip. And CL4L has got the Bandit, which means the Maverick is a response to that denial that's being brought from the defenders.
Absolutely. I would go so far as to say that Azami's a must pick if she's not banned here on the top floor. In rafters, she's so good, so oppressive, so hard to deal with. So not a surprise to see that coming over Seal for Life. Kitty will jump on that op, and then beyond that, of course, the wall play, very important. Florio's brought out the Maverick just because they really don't want to be countered by tricking. I will say, other than Nuxka's can openers, this is the only hard breach they have. Can openers are difficult to work with for walls that you need to actually enter, which this one is. You want to be walking in this this wall, so bit awkward. It's difficult playing Maverick in these days because Nitro cells can be very, very effective at clearing him out. Doesn't look like there's anything like that coming out, though, so they're going to let him get the wall, as you said, Parker, with no Tubarão. It's just a little bit too much of an investment, too unlikely to pay off, so the wall opens no problem. Ask can buck the rest of that open as soon as he gets ready to. In the meantime, though, the Twitch drone will jump on in, worry about the mute jammers later. Buck down below to start things off, which is very common for this bomb site. Going to be looking for some of these player positions and also to deny some of these bandit batteries that will likely be on the connector wall. But hasn't found anything just yet. Playing around hunting for player positions just at the moment.
Now the second wall will get opened up. And some small struggles to open up that bandit battery.
They'll get there. I will say it's weird that Uzi didn't bring a Nitro cell, still deals 25 damage to Florio. That's usually a big threat when you're playing on Maverick, right? You get Nitro through the wall, which can be devastating to certain pushes.
The amount of times we've seen it in Brazil happen to these teams is through the roof, so Black Dragons has to be suspecting that will be a potential outcome. But, I mean, nothing there from the bandit. The only Nitro cell being brought by Bino on the mute.
We're walking in here at the moment. The Azami's got to get active to stop this, or otherwise they're just going to walk on in. She is in the site, so not actively playing these Kibas. That's droned out. The clock really getting scary, Parker. 33 seconds on it. Diffuse Kit's over by Aqua Stairs, but going to the roof now, so they're still not sure where they want to bring Diffuse Kit. Maybe over towards Connector? Good intel as they spot out the Azami, but what can they do off of it? This time it's really getting scary.
Well, Ask is going to go from underneath and open things up and actually miss. Oh.
What? He's hard thrown.
Did Giddy not bother to get up? Uzi with the very first pick onto Hornetow. And there goes the rest of Black Dragons with 10 seconds left. Gudo, the only kill so far. And Adam will get the final kill.
I know, but I kept hearing them hopping out.
Almost every player on CL4L getting involved in that engagement. Very nearly a team ace.
I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were doing.
Me neither, Packer. That was a rough push. That was a really bad push, I can't lie. The buck down below, I mean, they opened the walls. That took them forever with just the Maverick. Then they had the buck below. They had literal yellow pings on the Azami that was prone, but they couldn't get the kill on it, and Ask eventually just had to give up on clearing that Azami because there was like 8 seconds on the clock, and if he didn't, then he loses the round on time immediately, and he's baiting the whole time. The clock completely getting away from Black Dragons. It took them so long to mav the IT wall. It took them so long to mav the connector wall. Then it took them so long to get control of Rafters, and then they didn't even end up pushing from Rafters. They went like up Aqua. I think they had some players in connector. It was a very late and disconnected push coming out from BD, almost like they forgot like the timer was a factor, and then eventually they remembered halfway through. They're like, oh shoot, guys, we gotta go. Awkward push for sure from Black Dragons. Not an easy bomb site to execute on, so, you know, you weren't expecting to win that anyways, perhaps, but yeah, not the push we wanted to see coming out of them. Some confusion certainly on the side of CL4Life and myself as well.
Losing the all-important Jesse vote That's a tough one. That's hard to bounce back from for CL4L. I got to really hand it to this team, though. I know that we're in the play-ins, and I know that when you compete in the play-ins, you are, in theory, battling against opponents that are of lesser skill than the teams that have made it all the way to Phase 2. Black Dragons were the worst team in Brazil in the regular season.
Yep.
They ended up defeating the defending world champions in the LCQs, and obviously you don't do that in a best-of-3 by luck. Just goes to show you that sometimes parity is, well, it's parity. You're very close. Even if you're the worst team, you're still a good team. CL4L, with the substitution, holding their own against Black Dragons is certainly a feather in their cap. And irrespective of what happens here, I think these players really should be proud of what has gone on, especially with losing Tristan on seemingly such short notice.
Yep.
Having Uzi step in and compete at the highest level that he's ever competed.
Once again, the focus starts on the walls for Black Dragons. They get the first little bit of it opened up. Nuxa takes a bunch of damage, and oh, hello! Hello, Packer, caught off guard. No idea that Hornet's all the way down in Exo already. Guto also falls to Giddy, making it a 4-on-4. They're in the site, they're in a plant position, but they don't have any vert control. Adam up above, just inside of storage, finds an easy one. That's not Diffuse Kit. I'm not sure exactly where the kit went down, but it's on the floor somewhere. Meanwhile, top floor gunfights are happening as well. Bino wins it against Ask. Every floor of the map, there are gunfights going on, and in the vast majority of them, CL4Life are walking away with the victories. Florio and Nuxco will now take this time to regroup, go pick up that Diffuse Kit. Looks like it was dropped just outside of the vending window, so they've got it now, but boy, that is an awkward set of engagements. They're losing fights top floor and also over by storage, and with the vert play too. Maybe they thought they had a gap, but they're not together whatsoever. Now though, they're in sight, and Adam, never mind, they're not in sight. Nuxka is, but the Diffuse Kit is outside the breach. He's gonna have to vault through to go get it. Parker, he's got 4 HP, and he failed all 3 of his clutches last time. That's not a nice flick on a Bino, admittedly, but with 30 seconds, this feels very unrealistic, and Giddy gets the job done at the end.
Yeah, I mean, there you go for CL4L. Just continuing to roll with it. Nuxka's 5th kill so far of the series. Night Haven Labs right now looking like the defender-sided map it has slowly become. One reference that we always talk about was back at SI, this was the most evenly balanced map, 50-50. As time has gone on since then, through Manchester, through all the other phases of regular play, Night Haven Labs has gotten progressively more defender-sided. Black Dragons don't like what they see. They've mustered 3 kills through just 2 rounds, and they, for the 2nd map in a row, will call their timeout in the 2nd round.
Yeah, another aggressive attack timeout from Ghost 1, the coach of BD.
Just go there, power them. If they go top, we power top. If they go side, we go side, bro. Like, fuck it.
Giddy, I don't think you should give up weed easily.
Keep gaps, just go over there.
Connect the window. Like, I'm gonna do my little thing for meeting.
And guys, keep up the comms. We're playing good, bro. Good comms, okay?
Bro, I trolled that. I mean, I trolled my Don, but
no, I don't give a fuck, bro. You play nice. You play nice. You play nice.
You don't gotta get that. You don't gotta get that. You don't get
We're
that.
pressing them, bro.
It's just there because I forgot to remove it, bro.
I can do all those. Like,
I'll get all your walls upstairs, Uzi. Just like make the rotate and put it on your fenders.
We got to hear the words of Bodega, the coach of CL4Life. Obviously, former coach of M80, coached that team for a very long time as the primary coach and then as the assistant coach, and obviously has quite a bit of LAN experience playing around with them. Was released from the team at the start of this stage and chose to start working with CL4Life as he had some free time opening up. Of course, that went very well for him and his teammates here now. So, attending the major with a squad that maybe he didn't expect to be a few months ago, but certainly taking every opportunity as it comes. You got to imagine with the experience that he brings, that's really something that the rest of the players just don't have. Most teams, even if they're young and inexperienced, Black Dragon's a great example, have at least one player with some LAN experience. Hold on. Not quite from Adam. Those players have at least one, or most teams have at least one player who's like somewhat experienced that can guide the rest of the players. CL4Life don't have that. The closest they have is Adam, who's played 2 stages of the North American League and never an event. So Bodega being able to fill in that role a little bit, give some experience to the squad, I think is certainly important. Be great to get to talk to this team if they win and ask them a little bit about what Bodega brings, but of course they gotta win to get into an interview, and with an opening pick, that gets a little bit closer. Ask goes down first to Giddy. He starts 0-3 this map.
No, Giddy's 4-0.
Ask is starting 0-3.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, he also started 0-3 on map 2, if my memory is correct.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't he have quite a slow start?
He did.
Before that?
He was probably their best player in map 2, and he started 0-3, so that should kind of tell you how Black Dragon's map 2 went.
How did it go?
Well, they lost by a lot. No trades at all coming out from Black Dragons. They tried. I mean, they're going for some of these swings, but CL4L playing it pretty passive, wanting to back off, knowing that they don't need to get aggressive for any more picks. The hard thing's already been done by Giddy. Now they just need to exist for a while. The hard breach from Nuxka from Connector will make that a little bit more difficult, and that will force the dropout from Giddy, who jumps down the hatch, leaving two of his teammates, Uzi and Packer, alone up on this top floor. Alone together, I will say. Adam right down below with the C4 as well could do a little bit of damage. Usually with this site, the game plan is open the IT wall, make sure there's nobody in basement, and then jump in the storage window and go for a plant under Candelas. I think that is still the game plan. Giddy has flanked all the way around through the bottom floor, up the lobby stairs, but I don't think anybody's actually in the building up top here, so he's unlikely to find anyone unless there's a late entrance from Black Dragons. Oh, if he jumps out, he could find a kill, but that's kind of risky.
He's also got 2 goo mines in pocket and a third that's coming in for the next couple seconds. That's gadgetry that could be used somewhere else. Oh my goodness. Did Gudo know somebody was so close by? Blinking, you missed it. 5 players dead in the span of a second. Wow. Kudos to Black Dragons for that one. Oh my.
Clearly the something's happening on the B stream.
That was Black Dragons.
Was it?
Yeah,
Still?
that was the coach of Black Dragons screaming. Yes.
Still?
Yes, still.
Yo, I just saw my mouse blink. blink.
Did you barricade your garage door, Bino?
Yeah, he just jumped over and ball banged me through it, bro.
Mouse is blinking. We'll call it when we call it timeout.
I have a feeling there may be a timeout coming up in the next couple of rounds.
Well, I think that means he needs to charge his mouse.
Yeah, I believe so.
You get like a 30-second timeout. I don't think it works that way.
They can probably take a tech after this round.
Okay.
But regardless, exactly right. They vaulted over the rafters, they went through the barricade, and they immediately got the pickup. The intel was clearly all there. I believe there were some drones inside the site. With Ask being dead, he likely was able to see some of those drones. So that intel perfectly coming through from Black Dragons. The execute is great. The roamers up on the top floor, not really close enough to have any impact. I will say as well, Bino was a little bit forward inside of storage, but I digress. They lose their first round here in the first quarter, down 2-1 now as we move back up to the primary bomb side of the top floor. Once again, you're seeing a zombie, you're seeing mute, you're seeing bandit. It's a very similar strategy coming out from CL4L on Black Dragons. They've switched things up a little bit. Instead of just the Maverick, they're bringing Maverick as well as the Ace. So they've got a little bit of that recovery potential if the Maverick does go down by some means. And Guto, on the most interesting operator of the day, picking up the Nook, who's entered inside of Kitchen and will be likely going to lurk up Aqua based on where he was droning. There are no roamers on this mid floor, so he's not going to find any picks down here. But if the whole team is, say, pushing Connector and he last second is like walking up Aqua, could have the opportunity to get a sneaky little pick there.
Same setup that they encounter with that IT wall. This time, though, to find where the mute jammers are. The Nook of Gudo is going to be an interesting one to watch. Ass getting very aggressive, torn apart by Adam, who goes for the vault out and finds 2. Right back in he goes. Packer taken out by Gudo, and Hornet will equalize. A very quick burst of action for CL4L, answered back by Black Dragons. Sneaky move from Giddy, and they actually trade.
Okay.
I'll take it. Hornet and Gudo, last 2 standing for Black Dragons. Halfway point of the round. All right.
Where's the defuse kit? Is it in IT? There's a crazy jump out. I think it's over by IT, somewhere around there. It would have to be Hornet who picks it up. They certainly know where Guto is now that he's popped his Deagle. They know it's going to be a bit of a pinch. They are very isolated on the side of Black Dragons. If they can go for a sandwich, if they can find some way to isolate the defenders, that could be big for them. But they're running in. They don't need the kit. Guto dies immediately, and Uzi finds the final frag. I gotta say, we missed the first part of it, but Adam jumping out the electrical window and then swinging into IT from behind the breach was a crazy way to get your opening 2 kills. Love that coming out from Adam, and then finding a third right at the end there too. Brilliant stuff.
Put a Valcam site.
Bodega historically loves yelling at Brazilian teams.
There's something about Brazilians when they leave the region.
I don't know where you guys want to put them, bro. Just put them.
They become the biggest haters.
It's a friendly rivalry.
Put a Valcam too, bro.
It's flashing. Uh-oh.
Okay. I did my set.
His cord is right there. He could unplug it right now. I guess you don't want to play plugged in. He probably has a backup.
Gideon, make the exo holes, bro, please, man.
That looks like a Razor Death Adder.
That's the mouse I use.
That's the same one I use as well. And when it starts blinking, at least from my experience, it usually lasts a couple hours. Like,
yeah,
it's not,
me too.
It's not urgent. It's not like, uh-oh, I got 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, they should be fine.
At least nobody's complaining about the refresh rates yet.
It's a testament that it's been a long series, though. I mean, we've had so many back and forth, so many comebacks coming through. 7-4, 7-3 aren't the closest score lines necessarily. But we're here on the third map. Both teams winning their opponent's map pick. We've seen a bit of a comeback on both of the 2 maps that we've seen so far, even if they didn't really complete. Generally, the team that's gotten away with the early lead, though, has closed it out. And CL4L looking like that team, up 3-1 here in the 5th round. The bomb site goes down to the basement, I do believe, as we are here now. As we heard, there are Valcams back on site. Uzi. Oh, he gets a pick here. Oh, no, he doesn't.
He did not.
A little late. It was a little earlier. He could have got one.
Of course.
Adam gets the pick. There it is. And
it's not how it works. You don't just get to pick somebody that you think is going to get the kill and then turn around and say, hey, I got it.
Regardless of who got the kill, that is the only hard breacher immediately taken off the board for Black Dragons. He shot some X-Kairos. He wasn't alive to pop them, I do believe. Some hatches soft, and Ask will get a trade back onto Adam, including a second onto Giddy. So regardless of the utility that has been destroyed, they're finding the frags, and Uzi looking for even more. He's up here with Bino, so 2 players trying to take these gunfights on the top, and Black Dragon's more than happy to take them too.
And Nuxka finds an opening, neither moving. Bino and Uzi don't expect to be hit from the side. It's the man of the hour himself as the last one standing. The last obstacle for Black Dragons to overcome in this round. Grenade gets dropped. Door opened up. And over top the hatch, it's Hornet to get the job done. Used to go by Hornet Tao, but he dropped the ow, instead delivering it to CL4L.
I believe the Hornetão used to be Big Hornet in Portuguese.
Say that again?
I believe Hornetão meant Big Hornet in Portuguese. Now he's just a Hornet. Downsized.
Do you think he's shrunk?
I think he has, yeah.
As you can see from the camera in front of you, that's Falcons coming all the way from the Middle East. They're competing on the B stream right now against Alpha. Team from LATAM, if you want to go take a watch, they're on the B stream. And there they are. Spoilers, of course.
Which side Frieza?
As far as I'm aware, Falcons won map 1.
They did. And last I saw, Alpha were winning map 2, but that was like, it was like 2-1 or something. So I have no idea. They probably have bounced back and forth. Still playing, as you can see, though. In our game, Black Dragon CL4L, I think if CL4L had perfect information, right, if they had all the tools that we have, they would have seen, oh, we killed the only hard breach. Let's get the heck back to site so that we can just play 5v4 and auto-win the round. But they didn't know they killed the only hard breach. They knew they killed a Hibana, but most teams on that site are going to be bringing also a Mav, or also an Ace, or also a Thermite, or at least can openers or something, right? But CL4L, they only were up against 1 hard breacher. So they thought, you know what, we're aggressive here on the roam. It's hard to get back safely. Let's just commit to our fights and take them. They lost them all. No information on Nuxka coming in top Aqua, so it happens. Not the ideal round that you want, but they're still in the lead 3-2, and they get to go back to storage, which is a bomb site that, well, admittedly, Black Dragons did win last time. So perhaps in a good position to equalize 3-3. We have yet to see a map go 3-3 at the halftime, if I'm correct on that.
In this matchup, yes. But in
yes.
G2 CAG Osaka, we saw a bunch.
Exactly, yes. But that could mean that we're in for a really long third map, which would be very exciting between these two teams. Certainly, they've both shown some strong stuff today, and they've both made some mistakes, but they seem very equally matched, if nothing else, and that certainly does provide good games.
A fun little tidbit for you. Both Maps 1 and Map 2 of this series started off with 5-1 halves.
Wow.
Consulate was 5-1 for Black Dragons. Ended up winning, despite CL4L doing better on the second side. Chalet 5-1 for CL4L, and then, well, they just traded rounds until CL4L won the whole thing.
Another 5-1 starting half seems unlikely on Map 3. I'll run the numbers on that, but I don't think the odds are very good.
Crunch the numbers and send them to me.
Crunching the numbers as we speak. Damo's down inside of the basement from Hornet could be kind of big. Obviously, with Bino in storage on that smoke, a lot of the floor underneath him is going to be soft. If he can get a free pick onto Bino, that's the smoke down. That's a free ticket right to the plants, but Adam strikes first on to Ask.
There go the Candelas, two separate players from Black Dragons looking for a vantage point on in. Hornet down below making an awful lot of noise, and are you just not aware that you are losing the floor beneath you? Guto with the diffuser in hand, dropped by Packer. Now it's Nuxka's turn to take up the mantle, and he wins the engagement against Packer. Looking for yet another, still staring down the barrel of his gun. Over top of that diffuse kit. He does not have permission from his teammates to attempt the plant. Maybe he got it from Florio as Uzi taken care of. They'll smoke him out. Does Nuxka survive? No, but the diffuser goes down all the same. It's working for Black Dragons, but now the final two players need to desperately watch this diffuse case. Bino from above. Adam and Giddy will likely try to tackle this head on. Both Adam and Giddy very low HP. Adam sitting on that diffuser. Florio twisting around, taken out from Giddy, who goes for the vault out. Now it's Hornet's turn on deck. Giddy and Bino still upright. Hornet from below, taking out Giddy. Bino doing some serious damage, but ultimately running out of time. Now he's sitting on the diffuse case. It's Hornet's turn to get into the action. He doesn't have information, and there he does it through the floor. Well played by Bino, but he's just a little bit too slow to get on the case or get the kill on the Hornet earlier on. Just as you had theorized. A 3-3 first half, Jesse.
Yeah, and it comes off some great play from Hornets as well. Playing down below on that Deimos. He's been their Deimos player all stage long, right? He's been the one who offside operator when they need one. It's the second most played op that he has, just outside of IQ, I believe is the primary operator on attack. Yes, it is. So really good stuff coming from down below. That's a tough bomb site to hold, right? Because if you're not holding below, which they aren't, and you're not holding above, because typically, like, if the attacker's open IT wall, you can't really hold above. Your only way to deny that is horizontally, and other than Toxic Babes and C4s, that's really hard to do, because they get a window right there to cover you if you try to push up and stop that plant from going down. So the smoke was there from Bino, but the pressure that Bino had from down below, the Deimos that was tracking him and killing him from the bottom floor with that pistol, made it so awkward for him to try to toss out those Toxic Babes. Very similar to the situation that we see on Consulate top floor. In fact, we saw that in this series. If you'll cast your mind back 2 hours, very similar situations were happening. Last time we saw that situation, it wasn't fast enough. The smoke in that situation up above was still able to stall the plant for quite a bit of time. I believe it was Packer, but this time the same mistakes are not made. Black Dragons are very quickly able to deal with that smoke. They get the plant down, and when they post-plant, that's a very good spot to be in.
Yeah, very challenging. Especially to get, it's hard to get the plant down, but once you get the plant down, it's harder to retake if you've lost control of the site. Oh my.
Both teams have committed this sin at this point.
CL4L that's left that default came up this time, Jesse. It's still up.
Yep.
Ask knows Packer's location.
Packer droned Ask, though. I mean, he's on the Vigil, so he might not have seen his exact spot, but I think Ask realizes he got droned as well. There's equal info on both sides. If you jump out, you're going to get killed. So they both just call it off.
A wise move. Let's look at what happened in that first half. By the way, people want to know the numbers? Well, we'll give it to you. Opening pick conversions only mattered in 2 of the 6 rounds. The team that got first blood did not win 4 of those 6. Both times, by the way, it was CL4L. CL4L got first pick in round 1 and 4, won the rounds off of that. In this round, though, it's Black Dragon striking first. How much is it going to matter? Well, an awful lot more as they get 2 first picks, not just 1. Much harder for you to climb out of.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough spot. They've got a lot of util still. I mean, the Deimos tracker can get you some picks back. The Ram up above will get you good opportunities to work the floorboards. Everybody other than Ask has rotated back to the site. Ask is top floor. Meanwhile, he is the sole roamer at the top of lobby stairs, holding an angle. Nobody will push him. He's got the boss G. That thing will one-shot down at the very least from almost any range. Parker, they have no idea that Ask is up there unless Ask has a tremendous bait. He's bound to get at least 1 pick here, maybe more.
And Uzi's letting those boogies do their work. There's the last one to go out, not just tearing through the floor effortlessly, but hiding the footsteps, hiding the sounds of where these advances are going to come from. Bino doing more damage to the metal bars than to Nuxka, as Ask is just waiting for the all clear and he finds it. Down goes Bino, still lording over top of these 2 attackers. Now it's Uzi taking some damage, Ask dropping, finding all the kills that he needs, and he finds yet another. Put that one into montage. A nice final kill for Ask, a huge round for him. Black Dragons take the lead.
Can we just go as a team somewhere? Like all work the same spot? Like we need to get info better upstairs. We need to try taking Aqua. We need to open the Aqua doors. Like, I don't think the Aqua door was open. Okay, come on. Like, let's wake up. Let's push together. Like, calm what we're doing. Calm what we're seeing. I didn't get a single piece of info that whole round. Of like who's playing where.
Upstairs.
Certainly no intel at all on Ask. We saw that playing out in real time in front of us on that vigil. Completely undroned, big misplay by CL4L. Right after the default cam, also in that round, was not shot out. Remember, it was Ask inside of Kitchen who was watching that default cam, almost jumped out. I think that really does speak to kind of the experience and the patience of a player like Ask, who's been on so many top-level teams and who's been at so many top-level events. Maybe a lesser experienced player would have jumped out that kitchen window as soon as he saw that he had intel on the camera. Probably would have died as the attacker of Packer also had intel there, and would have been able to get that late 3K flank going off that Ask was willing to go for. Sometimes it's about picking your battles and knowing when it's not your best opportunity. Ask chose not to engage, backed off, and had a much better opportunity later on that won them the round eventually. So beautifully played by him. And now they take the lead in this game, 4-3. CL4L off to an early advantage for sure. Looked like they were the better team at the start of this, but it doesn't last long.
Attacking is usually the harder side for these teams, especially in experienced squads, so CL4L might have their work cut out for them. Though neither of these teams have really looked unbeatable. It has been a slog between both of them. Map 1 was probably the least technical of all. There you go, you got it. Of all the matches. Clear way in now to IT. Because the only thing that was stopping that exothermic charge from going off was that mute jammer. It's could have been paired up with 2 of those shock wires from the Bandit in the hands of Florio. All quiet now as we get very close to the halfway point of the round.
So we step 1 on this site, right? Open up the IT wall, most important wall on the entire map. They've got it open now, so they can move on to step 2, which is probably going to be deciding between if you want to go rafters or if you want to go kind of in through connector. You can push both if you'd like as well, but oftentimes teams don't really have the bodies to push all of those angles while still getting trades. Packer over by meeting took a little bit of damage just moments ago. Down to 60 HP. Seems to suggest they're going more towards connector in this buck play as well. Starting to open up just below the site. Find this mirror if they can. Pop the mirror windows, but also a kill. You would not be mad about that. Connector wall open now. Job done. That's step 2 of the plan with 60 seconds still to go. If they get this pick, that's huge. Getting on 2 HP and 1 from Guto. The shotgun gets it done. 1 health remaining and Ask finds the head of Packer. Means it's a 2-man advantage nonetheless.
Ask having yet another terrific round. It feels like almost all 7 of these kills have come in the final 6 minutes. Hornet and Florio, the final 2 kills, you wouldn't know it because you were blind on your screen just as they were. Black Dragons get another round. Getting ever closer to pushing CL4L down into a day with destiny named CAG Osaka.
I know, but I'm not playing to go for that. And then Adam, you gotta go ace.
It's gonna be storage, bro. It's gonna be storage. Guys, they're giving pressure every single round. They're giving up pressure for us, you know? So we can go fast at them. We can really just execute fast as fuck on them, bro. Literally, they're giving us the space, you know? Just play for the trades, gun up, and go, bro. Literally. They're literally giving us space, bro. We're playing like bitches.
Pick
do a default clear and go fast, bro. Fuck it. I don't care.
Guys, pick the right ops, and we gotta go quicker.
Refrag together. We're not refragging together. We're always dying one by one.
We need to wait. Just wait for when we clear a step. We gotta go. We can't die. Just don't die. Like, get it. You get a free kill if I nade that guy out of E-box and he has to run back to you. I understand the warden's there, but if I time it with you, you get the kill. It's just.
Bodega correctly calling the bomb site as we'll finish up this tack timeout. Taking a moment to talk to his team. That's going to be the tack burned from both squads now.
Just don't play so, like, go get to the weed wall. We need to get the weed wall open.
As Black Dragons lead 5-3. They want to execute quickly. That's the key takeaway from that tack timeout. They want to move fast. Black Dragons giving up a lot of space for free. They need to capitalize off of that. Those are the words from Coach Bodega here ahead of round number 9. The storage window, again, very vulnerable to fast executes, to fast takes. The only way to deny a plant there is upstairs in IT, which is easily denied, downstairs inside of assembly, which is easily denied, or in the site itself, which has a window staring at it. Makes it very, very awkward to deny unless you have a C4 or a toxic babe of some sort. So we'll see if CL4L can find that gap, if they can find that execute. They want to go fast, but so does Ask. And with the Scorpion, he doesn't quite hit the shots he's looking for. No spawn peak, but no damage taken, so we'll forget it ever happened.
I'm sorry, the drones boosting just always make me giggle still. I don't care how long it's been in the game for. It's just always very funny. Very funny to me.
I love it when the Echo drones do it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Why not? Be quick.
Just like CL4L needs to be this round.
According to Packer.
And Bodega.
Packer having the worst game so far of his Tier 1 debut. Admittedly, it's not going to get much easier for him on attack. He finds a lot of success as a defender.
Yep.
I mean, you're going to lose the drone. You might as well pay somebody, right?
Sure. I mean, opening the walls now, this is very default from CL4L. That's what they kind of wanted to do. Packer down below. This is exactly what Ask did just a few rounds ago. You should be able to remember how well that went for Black Dragons. It went exceptionally well. So if they can replicate that success, CL4L can actually get some legs underneath them, get some momentum going. They currently have the Warden tracked. It was the Smoke previously. This time it's going to be the Warden who's in sight. That's the one you want to clear out, right? That's the guy who's not going to get flashed. He can see through your smokes. If you take him out of the picture, then there's nothing really stopping you from jumping in the storage window and planting. But not finding him just yet. It looks like Packer might be going up the cargo stairs instead. Nuxka is taking plenty of damage on that Warden, despite the fact that no tracks have come out. He retreats now, the jump in from the IQ, an immediate jump out from Uzi. Trying to bait a C4, but nothing being brought.
Down goes Packer. He's slaughtered by Ask, and there have been a lot of kills for CL4L. They're happening when they're looking in the wrong direction. Ask is just feasting upon this team. Another round, another double kill for him. It's all up to Bino in a 1v4, and the magic that has surrounded CL4L feels like it's slowly fading. 2 lined up, Ask gets his 3rd kill of the round, and Black Dragons move on to series point.
Words being said about playing together and playing fast, none of that happened that round. You go very slow, and then when there's 60 seconds left in the round, Packer solo walks up the cargo stairs, doesn't use any of his Deimos utility, immediately dies to Ask.
But he killed me from tellers.
I mean, I thought Adam was going to go that side.
Adam was dead. Yeah. Can we all clear top? Can we all clear top?
Yeah.
Let's all just go, like, open Ecuador, like, we just gotta play together, dude. We gotta play trades. We haven't traded a single round. We're just all dying one by one.
Ask finding both Packer and Adam by playing inside of Tellers was the key kickoff of that round that helped things go well for Black Dragons. Now they lead on match point. 1 round is all they need to go face G2 in a promotion match. Winner of that will, of course, make it into our second phase, the Swiss phase of our event, where they will be playing with all of the best teams in the world. CL4L, if they lose 1 of the next 3, they'll be down to face Kag Osaka in the elimination match. The loser of that game finishes dead last. Never where you want to be. They're going to clear top. I got to say it, Parker. Packer, a little bit less excited. I'm starting to get tones of frustration in some of these.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you can even sense it in the way that they speak to each other. It's totally different when, you know, you're doing okay and you're turning around and saying, yeah, it's fine. We just got to be better. But you've allowed Black Dragons to win 3 in a row at this point. Oh, my. And Bino missing that pocket EMP. None left.
That's tough. That's really tough. They have an IQ, too. They didn't need to guess. They didn't need to gamble. They took a couple extra seconds to move Adam down to the basement. They could have just spotted out the claws, and then you know exactly where it is.
Even experienced teams do this, though.
They do.
Even some of the most experienced teams that we've seen forget to shoot default cams. They forget to use their gadgetry. We had times where there'll be a soft hatch, and a Buck will walk in, leave it, and then a Hibana will X-Kairos the soft hatch. Why? Teams just sometimes forget. In the heat of things, there's a lot for you to mentally keep track of. A team like CL4L is obviously going to be feeling the heat at this particular moment, and they're bound to make more mistakes because of it.
You're absolutely right. They said we got to clear top floor as a team. Packer was begging with his squad to do just that, and they're attempting it here. Dealing some damage. Baguto wins the fight eventually. Uzi falls the first one here. He might be done in this game if his teammates can't clutch up in the 4v5. Everybody on Black Dragon still playing around this top floor. There is Guto inside of Cargo. A trade for Adam would be massive to start pulling this one back, but he rotates down the staircase now. Hornet does as well. It is only Ask who remains in the mid-floor. Inside a cafeteria, there he goes. Running out on the Mozzie. Been a popular operator today, but at the moment he is... Honestly, he's pretty committed at this point. He can still go down the vending stairs, but he's quite isolated away from the rest of his team. If they can move quick enough, they might be able to find a pick onto him and equalize it. That does assume they know where he is, of course.
Uzi having a really rough go of it as well. Nobody other than Adam really having a great match here on Labs. The numbers were okay until the second half came into effect, and then since then, it's been quite downhill for CL4L. Packer, a big kill. They need him motivated. They need his head in the game. He's starting off strong. Now it's Ask, though, to go under the radar. Diving down below the soft destruction, done on the wall, squaring up to the door frame. 30 seconds remain, and Black Dragons now find themselves in a very good spot. It will only get better. Another round where Ask gets a double kill, and just like that, the match